Hello, people. Welcome to day four of talking tonight. Our special guest, Mr. Robert Storms, who's feeling better. We're gonna bring my guys back in one by one. First, we're gonna bring in. What's up, Jason?
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How chat? Peace.
What's up, Jason?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right.
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, I got you good now. All right. Next, I'm bringing in Terrence. What's up, Terrence? How you doing?
What's up, man? I'm all right. How you doing?
All right. And last but not least, gonna bring in Mr. Robert Storms. What's up, Rob?
I figured with your great background, I should just show off my X-Men cup. I don't know. I'm still not 100%, guys. I'm kind of out there, so I might be saying some weird shit like fuck Parasite or something. I don't know.
Well, I'm glad you're back, bro. Like I said, we spoke earlier today on your stream. A little concerned, but now we know what's going on. So glad to have you with us.
Yeah, they just said I'm fat.
Before we get started, I'm gonna do what I always do, and if it's your first time viewing my show, please subscribe. I need your all your subs. I'm trying to get to 1,500 before Father's Day, which is the third Sunday in June. I can only do that with your help. Please hit the notification bell because I don't want you to miss any material that I upload, any content. Also, please hit thumbs up. That helps the YouTube algorithm. And also, if you leave any comments, know that I will read them and I will respond. Thank you all for your support. And like I say, this is day four of just three guys talking. Today it's going to be four guys talking. And basically, we're going to read questions from the chat, whatever questions or whatever content, whatever topic we're going to discuss amongst ourselves. You are more than welcome to interject, but basically, you're going to be feeding off one another and going on with things that we heard, things we want to see, might want to see, that kind of stuff. Nothing in particular. One thing I want to start off with, though, let me see if I can get this going. I always do a poll. Today, poll I put up. I'm gonna let you read it. See if I can find it. This is the question. What team up would you consider to be oh hell no kind of a problem if you had to go up against them? I put together Doom and Batman, which come in at 38%, Iron Man and Cap, which is 0%, Goku and Vegeta, which is leading at 46%, Flash and Reverse Flash at 15%, and Spider Man and Venom at 0%. So, do y'all agree with those percentages, or you think they're full of junk, or which ones? If you would come into work, or you had some kind of, or you were the bad guy, and you see these two guys team up, which one would give you the most problem? We'll start with our guest today, which is Mr. Storms.
I don't know why Goku and Vegeta are even on the list, to be honest with you. And the fact that you left off Dr. Manhattan teaming up with anybody is like, oh, hell no. But no, since they are on the list, I guess I kind of agree with that list. Although Doom and Batman is way more smarter than Goku and Vegeta. So just the fact that on a intelligent level, they would be, with the amount of resources and the intelligence that they have, they would, yeah. Batman and Doom, I think, are on this list particular, are the ones you have to worry about the most if they would team up.
Gotcha. All right, Jason, what do you think?
I agree with Robert. I don't know about the Dragons Ball stuff, so I go with Batman and Zoom. Like they're both smart. They're both know what they're doing. They would kill anybody they went against, basically.
All right, Terrence, what's your opinion?
First, I wanted to address the Doctor Manhattan thing because I read the Watchmen storyline, saw the movie, saw the show, read Doomsday Clock, and Doctor Manhattan is someone that can kill the entire DC universe by himself. He killed like hundreds of heroes in less than 3 seconds. He just completely vaporized them. And him going up against Superman was just terrifying. And Superman didn't even beat him. He just decided to do something very special at the end of that storyline for Superman. So if Doctor Manhattan is coming, uh, I would just kind of talk to him and let him know, like, hey, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not stupid. Um, who are the people on your list again, so I can go through them?
It was Doom and Batman teaming up, Goku and Vegeta, Flash and Reverse Flash, Spider Man and Venom, and I think that was it.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay, so Batman and Doom. From an intelligence standpoint, Batman is one of the smartest people I've seen in the DC universe. Like his ability to uh, essentially solve a problem in less than 48 hours, even if he's not particularly an expert in that category, is a problem. And then you combine that with Doom's intellectual capabilities. I think just from, forget the fighting, forget the power, just the sheer intelligence alone, I would be smart enough to go, I'm not going to try at this. It doesn't matter if I'm a villain or not. Like, that would just be stupid of me to think that I can do anything against Doom and Batman. And then what was the other one?
Goku and Vegeta.
Goku and Vegeta. Goku, I know that Goku and Vegeta are powerful, but in terms of Goku's personality, I feel like I would just be able to talk to him and it'd be
Just give him a
fine.
sandwich.
Yeah, just give him something to eat. Vegeta, I feel like there would be a respect there because of the training and the mentality. So I feel like I would be able to talk them down. So I feel like me being afraid is just a waste of time. I can solve that rather easily, but it would be, again, stupid for me to try to go up against them. Um, and then the other one,
Spider Man and Venom.
Spider Man and Venom. Spider Man's not a problem. That's actually pretty funny. Like, I feel like I could just talk to him too. Venom, on the other hand, I feel like it depends on if it's a Tuesday or a Thursday. Him deciding if he's gonna just rip me apart or not. So just because of Venom and not so much Spider Man, I think that it would be a problem for me to attempt, but I would probably attempt in a way that I wouldn't the other individuals that I mentioned, just because I feel like there'd be a small chance, very small chance of me doing anything. Um, then the last one,
Flash and Reverse Flash.
out of everyone on this list, I feel like I'm not even going to think about that in the sense that I already know the full capabilities of any speedster in the DC universe, specifically a Barry Allen and a Ia Barthon. So like,
Mhm.
you guys hear me?
Yeah, no, we
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I was saying that those two, the whole wipe me out of existence thing, there's too many variables that I cannot combat. Like I don't care what kind of armor I have, what kind of planning I've done. It's just too much. So between the whole list, I feel like those two in particular, that's a oh hell no, if you will.
And then we had Cap and Iron Man.
Ooh, well, Iron Man is an asshole, but I feel like I can reason with him because he is a man that likes to listen to characters before he tries to do stuff to them. So I feel like that's not really a problem. Cap, he's a goody two shoe guy. Sometimes he gets a bit aggressive when he wants to prove his point, but he's also a character that I feel I can reason with probably even more than Iron Man. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's not really a problem. I feel like a conversation to let them know where I'm coming from should really get rid of that. If they're telling me, "Hey T, we're on the way to wreck your shit," I'm like, "No, you're not, because I'm about to talk to you first." Like, what you mean? So that's how I would deal with that.
Uh, I agree with you what you said about Flash and Reverse Flash. Ebathon, he's a problem because he get his own agenda. But Batman and Doom, that's just like fuck. Um, I'm going back to bed. Um, I'll see you next year, or whatever type of stuff. Um, that's the pull up, but I'll probably check it again. Um, sometime maybe tomorrow, see if it's increased any or not. I'm really surprised that Cap and Iron Man is not even a threat on there, but oh well.
They're too
Anything?
good. They're too good.
Yeah. Anything in
Well,
particular you want to
yeah.
go ahead?
No, I was gonna say that yeah, they're good, but just because of the way that my mind works with the analytical skills, and I do have some strategic skills when it comes to fighting people from experience. So I'm just looking at realistically how these characters would approach the situation. It's not so much that they can't do anything, but what realistically would happen with Iron Man and Cap. Like, their odds are, if you can talk to them, they're not going to just show up and wreck you.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Mhm.
Robert and I talked earlier. I don't think y'all watched it, but did you watch Clone Wars, Rob?
I watched them all.
What
As
what
soon as I got done, I laid on the couch, made something to eat, and I binged all 4 episodes.
what do you think?
Dude, they were awful. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. The last episode was the best. I actually feel that was probably the best episode of the season,
That's what I
but
said.
but that's only because it leads into the Seeds of Mandalore.
Yeah.
That was not Duchess Satine. That was Bo-Katan, Duchess' sister, who was also in Rebels. Sabine gave her the dark saber.
So, yep.
So, like I said, I don't know how Moff Gideon gets the dark saber and the Mandalorian. Again, I'm not trying to spoil anything. It's been out for months though, but Bo-Katan did have that saber. Now she's coming to recruit Ahsoka to help fight the Siege of Mandalore. Now, if you read the Ahsoka novel, then you kind of know how all this is going to go down. I'm not going to spoil that for anybody who wants to just watch the show, but it's going to be kind of interesting, especially for me, because I'm kind of curious to see how close to that book they're going to stay. You know, and Dave Filoni's his character. He does what he wants with his own character. So
Yeah, that's pretty cool. My Hulk is green and it's showing through the thing. I never seen
yeah,
that.
because you got it chroma keyed, man. It's like someone just came out and ripped out your chest.
Well, man, like I said, I'm a Star Wars fan. The Clone Wars is slow. I will give it to you. It is very slow compared to Rebels. But like I said, this episode made me like, okay, it made me get re excited about it before I even first start seeing it. And I'm a fan of the Bad Batch. So
the Bad Batch was good, but did it really need to be 4 episodes?
I agree with you, but I think they to me it reminded me of Ninja Turtles a little bit. They were just a different version of Ninja Turtles. One was smart, one was aggressive.
And I understand there's a lot of people out there that are massive Clone Wars fans, and I'm not like one of these other YouTube channels where like, well, if you like this, you're not a real Star Wars fan. I'm not going to say that. I think there's Star Wars out there for everybody, depending on what you like. You like different parts of Star Wars. There's some people that just like the book. There's some people that just like the movies. Some people just like the shows. Clone Wars, I think it's okay, but I'm not a hardcore fan of Clone Wars like other people are. I talk to people at Star Wars Celebration who love the Clone Wars, and me, I thought there were some really good episodes in all the seasons, but it was never enough to keep me constantly invested in wanting to stay glued to the TV. Rebels always had me glued to the TV.
Yeah, Rebels is a much better product. I will agree.
I think the pacing is better. The pacing is better in Rebels, where I feel like they knew where they were going. Where Clone Wars, it's just like, we're going to spend an entire episode just talking to this girl who we don't like, who we just met, and her annoying sister with Ahsoka. It was like, what's going on right now? And I had to deal with this chick, Rafa, or whatever the hell her name is, for 4 episodes.
Yeah, I don't care for her. I don't care if neither one of the sisters, but
and there's only 12 episodes, right? So it's kind of slow for having 12 episodes.
They only got 4 more. So these 4 would be fantastic.
4 more. I think the 4 more is going to be what we saw in the trailers. When we saw the trailers for Clone Wars, because I was actually Adam sat down and watched the latest episode with me because he hasn't seen it, and he's like, did they just show like the entire end of the season in just the trailers? Because nothing in the trailers have been in the episodes so far. And I'm like, yeah, dude. Now I did like the mention of Crimson Dawn and all that stuff because it makes sense. It makes Solo more relevant now because it connects. But again, we had to wait 8 episodes to get a little mention of that, you know? So
it's kind of crazy. Terrence and Jason, did y'all hear? I don't know if we discussed this earlier this week that Disney Plus is looking at possibly doing a continuation of the X-Men from 1994 to mid 90s.
I was when we were talking about it, Rob. I heard you, and I'm down for that.
Yeah,
like I think that X-Men, the original X-Men cartoon, is like one of the best. You know what I mean? Even though if you read on, there's a lot of problems with the series and stuff, but it was just good, man. It was really good. So
the thing is, I think the reason why they're going about revitalizing it, to be honest with you, I think there's two reasons why they're doing it. About 5 years ago, when Marvel did the Secret Wars storyline in comics, they rebranded a bunch of the old properties. One of those properties was the 92 X-Men. They made it its own comic series. So it lived on in comic book form, and it was one of the most popular comics in the Secret Wars series. And I think Marvel and Disney looked at it as like, well, look, people still care about this. Plus, we need original content for Disney Plus. Why not just revitalize the cartoon? Kevin Smith is doing that with He-Man on Netflix, and that's got a lot of people excited. Me, for one, because it's not going to be a reboot; it's going to be a continuation. So there's hardcore fans of 92 X-Men. I think it's a brilliant idea.
Absolutely.
When are they going to do that?
What, the He-Man or the X-Men?
The He-Man.
It's already been cast. Mark Hamill's playing Skeletor, I think.
Oh, that's going to be on point there.
Well, in terms of the X-Men 90s show, I enjoyed it a lot when I was a kid. I think that the idea of them bringing it back, it sounds good, but I'm not going to get excited until I watch it and see that it is of quality and not so much, a ploy just to get people to go on
They can't do like
platform.
Thundercats Roar. They have to make it look authentic to the 92 series.
Right. It has to do. They have to make it look a certain way, but I think even more importantly than the visuals is the storytelling. Like, what kind of stories are you going to tell? Is it going to be, hey, look, remember what people used to like? Here you go, and then you watch it and it's a piece of shit. Like, I don't want that. I want to be able to watch it and go, you know what? This is pretty good. It doesn't have to be as good as the '90s one, but it should be of quality. I think that storytelling is very important instead of just getting people to come based off of recognition.
Have you ever watched Wolverine and the X-Men, the animated series?
Yeah,
absolutely.
That was actually really good, and it was only one season.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus now too.
Yeah, it is.
I was waiting for season 2 because they were going to do the Age of Apocalypse storyline, and they never brought it out, man.
Yeah. A lot of the good series never got renewed. Look at Spectacular Spider-Man. Spectacular Spider-Man is arguably one of the best Spider-Man shows, and just because of poor toy sales, it got canceled. But with Disney Plus, they can really bring those type of shows back.
They got an X-Men, Avengers one I've never seen. And it got like 3 little kids on the Avengers, like Junior Avengers. I've never seen that.
Isn't it called like Young Avengers or something?
Yeah.
All the shows that you guys mentioned, I didn't like them. If they bring them back, I'm happy for the people that enjoy those. But
you didn't like Spectacular Spider-Man?
No, compared to the 90s.
Wow. I got a question for you. What didn't you like about it, if you don't mind me asking?
There was something about the storytelling that seemed to be finicky to me. Like, it didn't flow to me as well as the 90s one, in my opinion. Not so much that I'm like, this is the worst thing ever. It didn't do it for me for a story.
See, I feel the total opposite. Everybody loves the 90s. I felt like the 90s one, the story was so dragged out. It was like every time you turn around, the Kingpin is doing something. Where Spectacular Spider-Man, it is so close to the original Amazing Spider-Man comics. Like everything from Mary Jane, Face of Tiger, you hit the jackpot, and the love between him and Gwen, and I loved it so much.
I thought Spectacular, he was like a little boy.
That's fair, but I'd rather read the comics, because at least with the comics, I had like a certain like shine of joy in my eye, to where it was just kind of like a tiger getting snatched from the wild in my eyes. It kind of glazed over. I'm like, I get it, but it just didn't do it for me.
Yeah. No, he was in high school in Spectacular Spider-Man, but he was also in high school in Amazing Spider-Man the comics, and the show was based off the early Amazing Spider-Man comics. But I really enjoyed it.
I just wish I would have felt like you, Robert, but I did not. So
the only Spider-Man I really didn't care for was the one that MTV did.
That was awful, man.
Awful.
Spider-Man Unlimited wasn't good either. because when they first marketed Spider-Man Unlimited, they set it up to be like a sequel to the '90s series because it had similar art style and he was chasing Venom. And next thing you know, he ends up in like this future world and stuff. And to me, this is just me. It was a huge letdown compared to the '90s show.
I didn't mind the story. I didn't mind the nanite Spider-Man suit because he had different powers, like he could turn invisible, and but I didn't like the way they did Venom and Carnage. The artwork was crappy. That
Yeah.
was really
At first, I thought you were talking about the anime Wolverine, which I didn't like, or the X-Men. Like the only one of the anime ones that I thought was decent was the Blade one,
The
but I
Iron
didn't
Man
care
one
for any of
sucked too.
those. Yeah, I didn't like that
Yeah,
either.
it did.
I'm telling you, you got to go on. I think it's CW, if I'm not mistaken, and see that first episode of Deathstroke. It is awesome. I don't know
Oh,
why they
the animated.
animated Deathstroke is hell.
Yeah, you know why I think we haven't gotten more yet. I think it was a trial run because a lot
Uh
of the
huh.
stuff that comes on the CW app or the CW Seed app, which is an extension of that, a
Uh
lot
huh.
of that is kind of, something like a treat for the people that have downloaded it. So
Yeah.
I think until it picks up a lot of momentum, they probably won't continue it, at least not extensively anyway.
I don't know why that first episode was. The art was kind of like what was that movie? Heavy Metal. It reminded me of that artwork.
What reminded you of that artwork? What movie?
The Deathstroke.
The Deathstroke episode, yeah.
Deathstroke
Ah,
episode.
yeah.
The
Yeah,
animation reminded
it
me.
was very good, but it was like one of those things where I'm like, I think that number one, a lot of humans don't know about it. Number two, it's one of those things where, can I get someone like my mom to be interested in it? That's not, one of us that are just gonna kind of latch on to it by default and at least give it a chance.
Yeah, I agree.
It's the CW33 app.
It's CW, and then it's just CW Seed. If you download both of
Okay.
them, it has different shows on there.
I think
Yeah, I
it's
don't think I get that. I don't think I get that here in Montreal.
I
Okay.
think it's also on the DC streaming service because they have a lot of stuff on there. But with the DC streaming service, some things kind of go on for a little bit and they go off unless it's
I
like
gotta re-sign up for
redundant.
that. I really do. I canceled it, but I canceled because I wasn't a big fan of what they were doing, especially after Swamp Thing got canceled. But I got to re-sign up for it because one, I miss having that comic library, and they just announced My Girl is going to be in season 3 of Titans, which I'm super excited for. So
Yeah. Batgirl, Oracle, like
yeah,
that should be pretty dope. And
season 2 was a lot better than season 1.
it was, but I like season one because I came in it from a position of like I didn't like the trailer, but because I'm a DC fan, I'm like, of course I'm not gonna skip over Titans. That doesn't
Yeah,
make any sense. So I watched it. I'm like, man, this is awesome. But then when I got to season two, I saw that they touched up on some of their failings, if you will, but
did
it never took away from my enjoyment though.
when you watched it, did you binge it or did you watch it week to week as it was being released? Season 1.
Um, I forgot what I did. I think it was somewhere I did a few, and then I did kind of a week to week thing. I think I was bouncing back and forth on that season one.
Yeah, because when I watched it, because I was doing reviews on the channel and it wasn't good. I remember the first episode came out, I was like, okay, this was pretty good. And then like the next episode wasn't so good. And even the views on my channel were going down because people in general just weren't interested in the show anymore. And I kept it around for season 2. I thought season 2 was a major improvement. I think Jeff Johns really got in the way in season 1, and you could tell he never wrote TV before. Writing comics and writing TV is two completely different things. In comics,
Mhm.
you can always do another issue. In TV, you can get canceled at any time, so you need to make sure you don't leave any loose ends. And he didn't do that with season 1. But
I think I think it came down to nothing more than a taste issue. Because when I was talking to one of my friends, he was expecting something a little bit more comical, not Teen Titans Go, but the OG Titans. And I was
yeah,
telling him that the reason why they went with The dark direction is because the Teen Titans in the late 80s and early 90s were dealing with dark subjects, and that was a
Mhm.
change
Mhm.
from the Teen Titans that we were dealing with. So I was like, look, you either like it or you don't. I don't think that there's like really anything fundamentally wrong with the show, but it will come down to taste. That's why you have a divide there.
I think they were going for more of a George Perez 1980s style Teen Titans, which I like. I like it a lot. I never had a problem with the tone. I just didn't like how the story was incoherent. And I would hope we all can agree that they did Starfire dirty in that show. Jesus
Oh
Yeah.
my God,
Christ.
yeah, man.
Um.
She
Oh, and
she looked crazy
Yeah,
with that
man.
wig and stuff. That wig
I
did not look.
man,
She had
like
nothing to do in season two, really.
Yeah, she
You
had. She
know,
was pointless in
like she
season
didn't do
2.
nothing. You know,
you know, Starfire is actually one of the more interesting characters on that show because at first I had a problem with why does she look like that, but then that was blown over when the show started. I'm like, man, she has one of the most interesting arcs in this damn show.
Season 1
Mhm.
she did, and then season 2 it was like she just was brushed aside, and they, which was weird because they made her look better in season 2, but then
Mhm.
they cut her scenes and dialogue by 75%, and it
Well,
was like,
yeah, that's because they had all these other characters though.
but that's bad storytelling. They should have, you have to utilize the characters you have. Don't sit there and add new characters and then forget about the other characters. Like Beast Boy was pretty much wasted. They just kind of used him to eat random people for no reason.
I think
Hey,
the
thank
only
you. I'm trying to
character
feel
that's
better.
I think the only character that was wasted, if you will, was Beast Boy, but only for the reason I feel that they were like, man, we can't be doing all this tiger and elephant and all this other stuff. So they kind of just had him be a character in the background where he would talk. So I think that's what they were thinking. But I feel like if I were in charge, I would just kind of have him, have like important missions. And then obviously, I take in consideration we have a budget. We can't allow him to do transformations, but we can have him go on missions and doing fight scenes and kind of
He's
put
only
him
had
more at the
one
forefront.
transformation through the whole show. It's only been a tiger. He's never turned into
Yeah.
anything else.
Well, he turned into a
Mhm.
snake. He turned into a snake at the end of season one.
Oh, did he? Shows you how much I
Yes.
pay attention to that.
Yeah, he definitely turned into a snake to avoid Trigon, and then that's how he was naked and he started talking to Rachel. I was like, oh,
Okay.
see, okay,
Mhm.
that's cool. Somebody thought, well, we can't do much, but for this 10 seconds, we can have him be a snake to kind of creep up to talk to Raven. I'm like, all right, okay, I get it. Um, but yeah, I've enjoyed Titans. I think that the show has a lot of good moments in it. And to me,
Mhm.
that's what allowed me to keep watching. I'm like, if you kind of show someone out of context, like, hey, watch this scene. I feel like that's what I did with some of my friends, and they end up watching it because of that, because of scenes that
Mhm.
I showed them.
What did you guys think of Bruce Wayne?
I loved him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It
Robert,
reminded
you,
me of
you you
Adam
go first,
West.
Robert. Yeah, you go first. I'll go
Mhm.
into it after.
It just reminded me the old school Adam West Batman that I grew up as
Mhm.
a kid. It felt like he was that Batman. Like he didn't feel like the Ben Affleck, Christian Bale Batman. He felt like the more this was, what I did back in my time. And now I'm leaving it to the younger generation, but he's still there for guidance. It's obvious he's still not putting on the cape and the cowl and going out, but he felt more like, because you look at him, he's not what you would think would be the standard Batman, but he fits the mold of Adam West, which I think is paying a lot of tribute to that. So I thought he was one of my favorite parts of season 2.
Um, yeah. See, I had mixed feelings on it at first because I was like, first of all, I like this actor, but he's too damn old. That was my first reaction. Why the hell is Bruce Wayne like 200 years old? But when I started watching it, and he had his dialogue sequences and his interaction with Dick Grayson was so good. Especially there's a scene where Dick Grayson is going out of his mind. It happened a few times throughout the show where
Yeah.
he would kind of
Mhm.
see Bruce Wayne and he would be telling him things. But that scene where Dick Grayson was training with Bruce Wayne when he was becoming a
Mhm.
Nightwing, that shit was amazing. That was
Mhm.
amazing. So he ended up he ended up winning me over, not from because again I like the actor, but just from that particular interpretation of Bruce Wayne that they decided to go with. He ended up winning me over because the scenes that he was a part of was really good.
Hmm. Absolutely. I liked at the end where I liked at the end where he ended up. They were trying to like do the thing with the computer, and he hacked into them. I was like, no, no, no. I was like, yeah, that's something Batman would have done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to change the subject, but Terrence and Jason, did you see my standby screen for today's my thumbnail for today's show by chance?
Actually, no, I didn't.
No, no. What you
No,
have?
yeah.
I might have. I probably don't remember. I kind of clicked on it pretty
Oh, you
fast.
should you need to remember because that damn meteor man. I did that for y'all too.
Oh, damn. Now I feel bad
You
for my
know,
man.
you didn't see it. Hey, me too. Me too. Next
Hey,
time, put the
hey,
blank man up, and we're good.
Oh hell no, I ain't putting blank makeup. I
Danny,
give you a
send
meteor
me,
man.
Send me the image. Like I might end up seeing it later once the stream is done. But send me what you put up.
Can you see?
Oh,
Oh yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. That's him, man.
uh,
That's him.
good
What
ass movie, man.
what shows have y'all been watching now since while you've been practicing this social distancing? This morning I saw one of my favorites, Creed 2. I was like, oh man, it came on just before he took the first fight against Victor
Hmm.
Drago, and
Hmm.
I was hooked.
Did you say you were Creed too? You know what's funny about that, Danny? I was training for hours and I was watching Rocky Four. Man, like I don't care which Rocky movie. Them training sequences in Rocky Four with Ivan Drago and Rocky,
Hmm.
man, that shit
Hmm.
had me. I for years I've had different stuff playing in the background while I do physical training, whether that be music, whether that be scenes that I'll put on. And Rocky Four has always been something that I will put on quite often in the background while I'm doing my training with the music and seeing Ivan Drago take them steroids and Rocky training in the mountains. It just put me in a whole different environment. Even though I'm training in a fucking garage, I felt like I was in Russia while watching that.
Drago.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
I was actually watching the Black Hole the other night, and I was on
Oh
Disney
man,
Plus. I watched Tron.
I ain't seen that in years.
Yeah. Jeez.
First,
Holy
the
Yeah,
crap.
first Tron boy, that was hell. I love that. I love that one.
me too.
The
I
second
still
one,
like it
not
today.
so
It's
much.
still, yeah. No, I didn't like the second one either.
The Tron animated series. You watched that?
I haven't seen it yet.
I didn't even know
Yeah,
there was a Tron animated series.
I think
I've
it's on.
Yeah,
never
it's,
I've
I
never
think it's
been
on
a
Disney
fan of
Plus.
Tron.
it is.
I
It
got a
is.
friend that loves Tron, guys. Like he'd be like, "Man, Terrence, this is just the coolest
I
thing
never
ever."
could
I'm
play
like,
the games. The games would always kick my ass. I could never master those damn games.
Bro, I had a friend when we go to the arcade, he would put 1 quarter in the Tron game, and it was the Tron game and the Return of the Jedi game, and he would not leave those games. He would
Hey,
just keep winning,
I
winning.
haven't seen the Return of Jedi, but if you go to Dave and Buster's, Tron is still in there. Well, at least
The
one.
Return of the Jedi game is hard as hell.
Hmm. Only 3 levels, but
It's the
the
speeder bike and it's
yeah,
cheap.
yeah. My
man,
friend
what?
would go through that in hours.
trying to remember
Because
what
I go to a bar at it's an arcade bar and they have it set up there. And dude, I play it for like 2 minutes and I'm ready to throw my beer and I just stop playing.
Okay.
Yeah,
it,
that's how I
my
was too.
There's some games I just like Assassin's Creed. That game drives me crazy. My son, he can whip my ass in that thing, but I
guys.
always fuck up.
The last time I went to an arcade, which was a long ass time ago, like I want to say like maybe 2 years ago. Um, we There was a machine there. It wasn't really like a game that you guys are talking about per se, but it was like this big thing set up, and it had these different kind of uh, like balls, like silver, but they weren't like suspended. They were kind of attached to a wall, and they look metal. And your job is when it tells you to hit them, you're supposed to hit them. Then it increases the speed, and it's supposed to test your intelligence and your endurance and your strength. And like I had a lot of fun playing that game. Me and my friend were hitting that damn machine so hard it was shaking all over the place. So we were having fun with that shit. I remember we actually built up a little bit of a crowd because I'm strong, my friend is strong, and we were just trying to outdo one another and damn near breaking that damn machine.
He about to throw your ass out there. He's about to destroy my
Oh
machine.
hell no! If that manager would have came over like, excuse me, sir, if you can ease up on your strength there, we don't want to destroy the machine. I'd have been like, look, human, I'm about to beat this thing.
Oh
So I
goodness.
suggest you step aside unless you want to become the machine yourself.
Oh god.
Become the machine yourself. The new tagline for the next Terminator movie.
Speaking of Terminator,
I hope it.
I didn't see the last one, so I can't speak on it intelligently.
I haven't seen
But
it either.
no,
I've heard this crap.
Oh,
I have
look,
seen it, and it is crap.
Which is worse, Terrence and Jason, the last Terminator or the last Predator movie?
Terminator.
Ugh. Yeah,
Yeah,
Terminator for sure.
I heard.
As bad as Predator has become, I'm still excited when the Predator movie
I
comes.
heard at least Predator is fun to watch. That's what I heard.
Mhm.
Hey,
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
Super Predator, man, he is hell. Let's say like he about 10 feet tall, buddy.
Okay.
He was cool.
What? Let me see how I can say. Because the recent Predator movie I thought was trash. It had maybe
It
all
was.
of, I think I would say
Oh,
6 minutes.
yeah, I think it was
Oh,
trash, but when you saw that Super Predator, didn't you say, "What the fuck"? That's what
I,
I
I
said.
I only said
Mhm.
that for a couple of seconds because it was just like, what is this thing? But then after
Yeah,
that, because of what they did with it, that kind of wore
yeah,
off rather quickly.
yeah. When you
Mhm.
first
So,
see it, you
Mhm.
like, "What the hell?"
Mhm.
but
Is that
see,
on a
what
streaming service yet? The new Predator?
It
it's
should be.
actually,
It's old.
I don't,
Yes.
no, Robert, I don't know about a streaming service, but I think
It
if
should
I'm
be
not
on demand or
mistaken, it
something.
was like on HBO or some shit like a couple days
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, I need to check it because I don't want to pay for it. But if I have it on Netflix or
Dude,
Amazon, I wouldn't mind giving it
It,
a
it
watch.
might be. It might be on Netflix, but it's big
Robert,
as hell. I don't know
no,
what
no,
it is.
don't pay for it, Robert. I am so glad that you
I
rebutted,
was,
but that will make you sick
You
again.
know what's sad about that though is the director is a fantastic director, Shane Black, right? Who wrote the original Predator. You know, I think he
Mhm.
like co-wrote or he was in it or something, right?
Yeah, he
But
was
the
in it.
problem
Yeah,
was the damn studio kept interfering with the goddamn movie, and then the movie turned out like shit. It's like how hard is it to have a predator hunting humans? It's not hard. But
This
the
was this had
studio
the
I know.
potential to
okay.
be really good, but it kind of went off
Let,
the rails when they started
here-
trying to get. Didn't they want to get the boy that had he was like
oh, that shit with the.
autistic or something?
I don't
Mhm.
want to.
Mhm.
I don't want to spoil
Mhm.
it for Rob in case he has
I'm
like
sorry.
a
I'm
five
sorry, Rob.
percent
Yeah.
interest. But
Uh,
Robert, honestly, we're not really gonna spoil much. But I think you have maybe a 5% interest if you're a Predator fan like us. But at the same time, the difference, like Danny said, at least if they go, hey, you know what, we got a new Predator movie coming out. Is it from Disney? I guess I'll watch it because it's Predator, I guess. But with Terminator, that last Terminator movie was so bad. I never want to see another Terminator movie again. For
see
the like,
people
I've
people
heard that.
still go ahead, Danny.
I don't understand. I've heard that statement.
I still like even Adam gives me shit. He's like, "Well, you can't say nothing because you haven't watched it." I'm like, I don't need to watch it. I know that they killed John Connor in order
oh,
to make a girl the
oh,
new protagonist, the new John Connor. I'm sorry, that's an agenda. That's the definition
oh,
of agenda.
my
Mhm.
my my
Mhm.
fucking heart is hurting because
You you
because
you can sit there and say it's not an agenda all you want.
no,
That
it
is
is.
the clear definition of agenda. When you kill a character and make a new character, the same character but a different gender or race, that's an agenda. You know, we
Mhm.
spent 20 something years saying John Connor is so important, and then they literally kill him off in like 2 minutes and go, well, he's not that important.
That's exactly right. Like, look, they said this is gonna take place 20 years after Terminator 2. I was like, cool. Everything else not canon. I'm like, all right, okay, I can work with that. Terminator 1, Kyle Reese comes in. Sarah, your son is important. He's the one that trained me. He's the one that stopped Skynet. He saved humanity. You need to have this baby, crazy ass Terminator coming. I'm here to help you. Number two, John Connor's doing his thing, hacking into ATMs. All of a sudden, another Terminator shows up. Come with me if you want to live. John's like, damn, oh shit, I heard about this. Now I'm part of it. Then the T1000 shows up, a more advanced model trying to take John out. He's definitely important. Then you get the Terminator Dark Fate. You got the
Dude just getting ice
beginning.
cream or some shit.
Yeah, and then the savior just snapped up, right? And then you find out, okay, there's a chick with short hair because of course she has short hair, and she's all enhanced, and she's like, yeah, I'm here. Nobody knows who I am because I was never mentioned. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then you got this Hispanic chick, and she's like, I don't understand what's going on. I was like, I'm right there with you, sweetheart. I don't know what the fuck is going on either. And then she's like, then the chick with the short hair is like, look, you are the most important. I'm like, Sarah Connor is right next to you. Like, I was like, Sarah, can you smack this bitch, please? Can you smack her? Because she's being very disrespectful. I'm like, the only female in this movie that should be important is John Connor's mom, and she was disrespected the whole movie.
Yeah. Or John Connor's future
Mm-hmm.
wife, like in Terminator 3, which made more sense, you know? So and
Mm-hmm.
if this chick was
Mm-hmm.
so important, right? If this new chick was so important, then why didn't Terminator 2 they just go back and kill that new chick's parents so she would be never it doesn't make any
Mm-hmm.
sense. If she was so important, how come she was never mentioned?
I
That's
know it's so
exactly it. And
confusing, boy.
to me, it seemed like they tried to be clever to reboot the franchise. So we'll start it off, we'll kill John Connor and we'll reboot everything with this girl. And if it does good, we have a whole new franchise with this girl as the
But
savior.
that's what makes
But
it
it didn't
worse
do
because it's not a
didn't do
reboot; it's
nothing.
a
And not only
continuation.
that, but then
Exactly.
Skynet's not around, but another company,
Mm-hmm.
what Legion comes around, and and they also make Terminators too, and they also keep the same
Exactly.
name Like it doesn't make
Mm-hmm.
sense.
So
Mm-hmm. And not only
So
that, the
so
Terminators
yes,
look the
yeah.
Terminators do
So
different things, but they look exactly the same. You know what I mean?
so
So it's
so
like, come on now.
so when people because even Adam still gives me shit. He's like, well, you haven't seen it, you can't talk about it. I'm like, dude, I've heard enough and watched enough spoiler reviews that I know I don't need to watch that piece of crap to know
Adam,
what I'm getting into.
yeah, Adam is being ridiculous. That movie is horrible. Like you said, you don't need to
Yeah, I'll
watch it.
never watch it again.
I saw that from the trailer, Robert, before I watched it. Now I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna say this, and I'm not gonna talk about it anymore in case Danny is excited about it. But there was one scene where you have Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator, and he's there with the family. He's wearing a button up
Yeah.
shirt.
Yeah, I know.
This
Yeah.
Yeah, I
motherfucker,
know.
this motherfucker went grocery shopping. He's a
Yeah,
neutered Terminator.
yeah.
Because you want everything death, destruction.
But
But
if you're a Terminator, you need to terminate shit.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Either that when your mission is done, you're done. You're not gonna
Yeah.
go raise a family.
If the Terminator's mission is done, then it should have been programmed inside the Terminator that it either self-destructs or automatically shuts
Mm-hmm.
down. If it
Mm-hmm.
has no
Absolutely.
other agenda, its next agenda isn't to go buy wallpaper at Home Depot.
Exactly.
That doesn't make
Exactly.
any sense.
we got another mathematician in the group today.
Can you imagine if C3PO is like, well, if I'm out translating, I guess I'll go pick out, fucking tile at fucking Lowe's and just it doesn't make no sense. The best sequel to Terminator 2 we ever got was Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Mm.
I never saw that.
It's really good. It's only 2 seasons.
Season 1 was great. Season 2 was okay. But
Season 2
think-
had its up and downs for sure.
See,
Especially
I
the
like
way it
Terminator
ended.
3. Terminator 3 is way better than the recent one. No comparison.
And the recent one,
I still like Salvation. I think Salvation is the only one that did anything original. Because Terminator 3's Jenny Smith and Fate had the same story. Terminator comes back and hunts people down. At least Salvation, there was a war going on, and you could see the war, and it was a different atmosphere, and everybody gives Salvation shit. I still really, really like Salvation.
Salvation is a good movie. But
yeah,
it's
that's
not
good.
It's not a good Terminator movie. There is a difference.
It shouldn't be called, maybe you're right because there isn't a Terminator hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they should have called it something else and then had a little tagline on the bottom, like the Terminator Saga or something.
Right.
Maybe like John Connor, the Terminator Saga or something, or maybe call it Salvation, something else,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, because you're right.
No, go ahead, Rob. Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying Terrence is right because there isn't actually a Terminator hunting down the entire time. But go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's okay. No, I was just gonna say it's like they keep recycling the same thing over and over again. Why can't we get the Terminator War? You know what I mean? Why can't we get the future war? How it goes down and the whole war?
I
It's
know
just like
why.
they keep doing the same
The
thing. Why?
the
Why didn't
second
they
you get to
continue
war and
after
it ain't like it.
Terminator 3?
Well,
What's that?
Salvation was building toward that.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Salvation was different though. They should have just continued from 3. You know, you'd have a more coherent Terminator movie.
Well, they did continue from 3. Salvation was continued from 3. They were
I mean,
underground for years.
yeah, but it's too much of a time jump, and like I said, it's not really a Terminator movie. Like you mean to tell me that Skynet built a machine that doesn't know it's a machine that became good? That is like some of the silliest shit I've ever heard of.
Well, compare that to Jenny Smith and Dark Fate. It's not that silly.
It's not, because at least Salvation was good, but I still didn't like that component of the movie, which is why I don't really call it a Terminator.
Got you.
Is it
I like it
me
though. I think it's okay.
or are we all ready to see another Riddick movie?
I'm ready.
Yo,
I'm ready for that.
absolutely. Me too.
I don't know why Vin Diesel is spending all of his time focusing on Fast, Furious, and 9. I think that's coming to the end. I don't want to see Fast and Furious 11 and 12 and 13.
Well, here's
Hang
the
on,
thing with that is um Vin Diesel owns the rights to Riddick. So he will make more money personally if he does another Riddick movie. The problem is Fast and Furious makes like 9 times more
Mm-hmm.
than any of the
Mm-hmm.
Riddick's movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see that, but I love Riddick.
The real question is, why is he doing shit like Bloodspot or Bloodsport or Bloodshot, whatever the fuck it's
Bloodshot.
called?
Yeah, I would have skipped that one and done Riddick, because I want to see the next. What does he do after? I know he's pissed off at those. I can't think of the name of those people. Ones that's
But
half half alive, whatever the hell they call themselves.
he's the leader of them now, though, right?
No. They kicked him off and put him on that island.
Oh yeah, that's right,
Planet.
that's right. Yeah.
So I know he want to
I
get back.
completely forgot about that one.
It's Pitch Black, then it's Riddick. I can't think of the.
It's Pitch
And
Black.
the Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah, Chronicles of Riddick is the second one. Then Riddick is the third one.
Yeah, right.
And then there's the animated show, but I don't know where that fits in.
I think that was right after Pitch Black and right between Pitch Black and Chronicles of Riddick.
Guys. All right, so
because in the cartoon they're sorry, Terrence, go ahead.
No, yeah, I had to do something, but I was gonna say, Jason is right. Like that, the Chronicles of Riddick: Dark Fury takes place a little bit before the Chronicles of Riddick, to my understanding. And like,
okay,
so you have the 3 live-action films. You have Pitch Black, the Chronicles of Riddick, then Riddick, and then you could add in Dark Fury, but you're not really missing anything if you don't. It's just a little extra nod, and Vin Diesel's doing the voice of Riddick, so it makes it authentic. But I heard what Robert said about Fast and the Furious franchise making more. That is 100% true, because you don't. It's still a business, right? Like Riddick has its loyal fan base. It's a fairly decent size, but the movies have only made a decent amount of money. So it really is like a passion project in comparison to Fast. Look at the longevity. That started when I was in middle school. I'm 31 and it's still going. And it has a spin-off movie.
Mm-hmm.
So
and it almost started to go down.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking up Riddick right now. Riddick worldwide only made 98 million. Fast and the Furious makes more than that on its opening weekend.
Yeah.
It makes more than that when the trailer drops. Like
yeah.
So I know for the third Riddick movie, I remember Vin Diesel and David Towie, they said that they had been working on a good script for a long time. That's what took it a while for us to get that third one. I remember, looking up on it. I was there day one when it came out. I had my head shaved. I had my Riddick goggles, the black tank top. I was all Riddicked out that day. So when those people betrayed him, the mongers, like that shit was messed up. I had a feeling they were going to do that because they didn't even like Riddick anyway. Carl Urban's character wanted to be the king and shit, so he was pissed that he missed this opportunity. So betraying him was inevitable. I was like, okay, when are these fuckers going to betray him? They left him on the planet. And it kind of reminded me of Pitch Black, the first movie.
Yeah.
Which, people wanted to see that scenario again because they liked the action that came with Chronicles of Riddick, but they wanted that raw kind of sci-fi horror movie element that we got from Pitch Black,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and that's what the third one did. So, um, to answer Danny's question, I'm looking forward to the fourth one, as I have been for any sort of Riddick property.
Now, I just did a quick Google search or box office mojo search. The first movie made 53 million. Yeah, 53 million worldwide, but on a $23 million budget, which wasn't bad. The second movie, Chronicle Riddick, made the most out of all three with 115.9 million on a much bigger budget, 105. So that's not really that good. But Riddick, the third movie, was actually the most successful, even though it didn't make as much. The third movie only cost 38 million to make, but it made 98 million. So it actually made a profit. So it's actually the most successful. But that was back in 2013, and we still haven't got a fourth movie yet.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Robert. And the thing about the Riddick movies is interesting. The whole franchise is that when these movies were dropping one by one, like the whole franchise, you have with Pitch Black, it was like, oh, okay, let's see what this is. People liked it, and then you had a little bit more of a turnout for the second one, and then a certain kind of number for the third installment. But really, I think a lot of the fan base for that character Riddick really comes from after the fact. Like when people are like, "Hey, did you see that Riddick movie?" Like, I heard of it, but I haven't seen it. Go ahead and watch it and see how you feel. If you like it, then check out the rest of the franchise. So I think that's how a lot of people got their hands on Riddick, not so much right away based on the box office numbers.
And right, with those numbers that Rob just said, not like all three of those movies combined don't even come close to one of Fast and the Furious movies.
Doesn't even come to one of them.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
What about okay. Wait, go ahead, Jason.
No, I was just gonna ask, what about Triple X? Didn't Triple X make more money than Riddick 2?
I'm checking that now. All right. So the first Triple X made 277 million worldwide. That's already more than all three Pitch Blacks or all three Riddick's movies. Triple X 3, which is the return of Xander Cage, made 346 million on 85. So the Triple X series is way more successful than Pitch Black, sadly.
Well, here's the thing though, like the first movie, like the only one of
minus State of the Union. State of the Union only made 71.
Yeah, because Vin Diesel wasn't in it.
Well, here's the thing though. Like I only saw the return of Xander Cage in the theater. I actually saw that in 3D, and that was actually amazing to see them do that shit. And they were coming off the screen. That was pretty sick. But to me, I feel if they do another one, which they should, based off of the way the last one ended, if they can do a fourth Triple X and you have Darius, Ice Cube's character, and Xander Cage working together on a mission, I think that would definitely bring some people in, because I remember the reaction of seeing them towards the end of the movie. You see Darius Stone and he helps out Xander Cage, and that fucking audience went crazy. And it was like, even my friend, like he wasn't going to watch it, but he was like, oh, I think they should team them up. I was like, funny you should mention that. You should watch the third one. Like,
sort of like a sort of like what they do with Fast and the Furious with all the team ups they did there.
Shaw more.
Yeah, but in Fast and the Furious, it was just Paul Walker and Vin Diesel until the third one, and then Vin Diesel shows up at the end.
A lot of people don't. I love the third one.
Well, Tokyo Drift. Tokyo Drift is still my favorite. But it wasn't until Fast and Furious 5 when they brought in everybody, Ludacris, Tyrese, everybody. It was the Avengers before the Avengers were the Avengers.
Right, like,
that's when.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's what catapulted Fast, because Fast and the Furious was pretty much as a low budget racing type movie until Fast 5, when they brought everybody in, and now every Fast and the Furious movie has been $1 billion movie because of that. So then when we look at stuff like Triple X and Riddick, and I was also looking while you guys were talking, Paramount does Triple X, Universal does Riddick. I think what Universal needs to do is, because they're partnerships with Blumhouse, I think Blumhouse needs to do the next Riddick movie, because Blumhouse has a great track record of taking good movies, doing it with a small budget, and making tons of money. Look what they did with Invisible Man. Universal fucked up The Mummy.
They gave really handles like horror characters though.
They don't do everything.
But the next one is gonna be it's gonna be horror like though, so that's perfect.
Yeah, Riddick always has the horror element. Always, you know, even the second one, which was mostly sci-fi, it still had that horror element in it. You know, Blumhouse could take that movie, take the concept, do it for 20 million, and make 100 million, and it would made 5 times his money back. You know, because they did that with The Mummy. The Mummy cost like 7 million, or not The Mummy, but Invisible Man cost like 7 million to make, and it made like over 100 million. You know, and this was before the virus outbreak. So
yeah, it would have made more.
Yeah, it would have made a lot more.
It would have probably made like maybe I'm guessing another 35 million, give or take. But like
because Universal has a bad habit of spending way too much money on their movies. Sony does the same thing.
Well, here's the thing with the Fast stuff. Like when Dwayne Johnson came into the franchise, that's when it blew up. He is one of the few superstars that are left where you bring him in, your movie's automatically going to make more than without him.
But to be fair, I agree with you, Terrence. I actually agree with you 100%, actually. But to be fair, it was also the perfect lightning in the bottle, because that was also the same movie where they brought everybody else back in, too. I'm talking about Gal Gadot, Han, Ludacris, Tyrese, the twins. You know, that was everybody in that movie.
Well, that's true, but it's like the big selling point was that they're going to have to go up against Dwayne Johnson.
That didn't save G.I. Joe, though.
No, it didn't. But G.I. Joe made some money because Dwayne was in it. Like, if Dwayne wasn't in G.I. Joe, oh, boy, it would have been worse. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with that movie Rampage. The Rampage made what it did because Dwayne Johnson is the star of that movie.
Okay, so the first G.I. Joe, Rise of Cobra, came out in 2009. This was the one without The Rock, just Channing Tatum, and I think just Channing Tatum. 302 million worldwide. The Rock came in on the second one, and it made 375. So it made 75 million more just because The Rock was in it, technically.
Yeah, see,
right?
like,
because the first one. The first one wasn't that good, right? The first one wasn't that good.
No, the first one.
If you don't put The Rock, you're right. So if you don't put The Rock in the second one or a big actor, you're just gonna have.
It also had Bruce Willis in the second one too now, and what's the guy?
But Bruce Willis is not as bankable as Dwayne currently.
I agree. I'm just saying they had Bruce Willis, and also what's the other big time star?
The girl.
They had the girl from Shield.
The guy that played the general. Damn, what's his name?
The general. Oh man, I don't remember right now.
If you're talking about Joseph Gordon-Levitt, that was the first one.
No, I'm talking about the guy. Remember when he was a baseball player, just a regular coach. He went to the major leagues. He made the major leagues.
I might have to show a picture.
Yeah, you might have.
Yeah, let me go see what I can.
But no, like, I'm not disagreeing with you, Terrence, on The Rock. The Rock brings in a certain amount of money, but he isn't the entire, like, he's not the whole reason why Fast Five made like $1 billion. He was a good part of it, but you know, because Shaw and Hobbs and Shaw didn't make that much money.
Well, Hobbs actually, like, pull up the worldwide of Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, I'm
like,
doing
Hobbs
that right
and
now.
Hobbs and Shaw is a movie that it built up over time. It's that movie, which means that word of mouth.
Okay, never mind. I shut up. I shut up now. I shut up. It made 759 million.
Yeah, that is amazing. Like, some MCU movies haven't made that much money, by the way.
Yeah, so, it made almost 600 million just worldwide. It made, yeah, okay, never mind. I remember when it came out, it wasn't doing that well. I had no idea it came that far.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like, Hobbs and Shaw, like, because people were flipping out, like, oh, it failed, and in the lowest opening. I'm like, humans, this is connected to Fast and the Furious. You have Jason Statham and Dwayne. Give it a month or two, and then let's revisit.
But even Mr. Dwayne Johnson throws in some skyscraper.
I'm
And
not. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying. I'm not saying that he delivers masterpieces. All my only point is that if he is in your project, it's going to make more than without him. That's all I'm saying.
we'll find out when Jungle Cruise comes out.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Danny.
like it. What? But fair enough, Robert. I'm not saying that that's going to be successful, but I think if you take Emily Blunt and Dwayne out of that movie and you just put Joe Schmo and Tiffany Black, then I don't think it would make whatever it's going to end up making.
Oh yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, we could say the same thing with Jumanji. Jumanji probably wouldn't be Jumanji if it wasn't for The Rock in it and Kevin Hart.
It was the whole cast. It was Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart, Karen Gillan, and Jack Black. It
See,
was
that's
the
why I didn't
whole
see the
entire
movie. I
ensemble.
hate the entire cast.
Yo, the Jumanji movie. Let me tell you about that. The newest, well, not the newest, but the one before the recent one. The interesting thing about that is everybody and their grandma was like, "We can't watch it. It doesn't have Robin Williams." Scene transition. Some people go to watch it. Jumanji is the best example of a positive word of mouth because it
Yeah.
made $1 billion.
Yep,
Like,
and it competed against Last Jedi and it still made $1 billion.
yeah, it competed against a fucking Star Wars movie. So that has to tell you, no matter how anyone feels about the watch it, or they care for it, I feel like a lot of that has to do with them being biased because Robin Williams isn't in it, which is bullshit and it's not fair. But if they came at it from like, no, I just didn't care for it, I can respect that. But if you're just on the whole, Robin Williams isn't in it, it doesn't matter how good the movie is, you're gonna think it's a fail.
See,
which is
I
not
didn't
fair.
I didn't go see it. I haven't seen it. I have no interest in seeing it, but it's not because of the Robin Williams. It's just because I'm not a fan of the cast. I never liked Jack Black. I don't think he's funny. Kevin Hart, I think, plays the same character in every movie. The Rock, he's kind of hit and miss. The only one I like is the chick because she plays Nebula in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. But I don't want to go see the movie just because I think I like the chick. You know,
Jack Black is funny
Robert,
in School of Rock.
Robert, I am telling you, like, you might be surprised. I'll tell you what, watch that one, and if you don't like it, you don't need to watch the sequel to it. But it might surprise you because again, there were a lot of humans just like you, Robert. They was like, nah, the cast, and like you said, it wasn't because of Robin Williams, but they did throw out some of the reasons that you just did, and they were won over. So all I'm saying is that it may be possible. That's it.
now see, I will say this. The trailer for the second movie actually almost had me want to see it because I'm a massive Danny Glover and
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito fan, and to see The Rock and Kevin Hart act like them, I thought was hilarious. Like when The Rock is doing the thing and he's like, "Are you having a stroke?" I thought that was enough of a gimmick to get me to go see it. So I might hold you up on that, Terrence. I might watch the first one just to get to that.
Okay, I think you might be surprised. Like you might not like it, but I think you'll be glad.
I go on vacation next Thursday. I go on vacation like I'm not on vacation now. Well, technically not really, but when I go on vacation, since everything's still on lockdown, I'm gonna spend a day. I'll go through them and I'll let you know what I think of them.
And how you said about Kevin Hart playing the same character in the Jumanji movie, that is both of them really is the best example of what he can do acting wise when he's not being the usual Kevin Hart because he has to convince you. He has to convince you that he's these characters. And in the second
Central
one,
Intelligence was awful.
I thought that movie was funny as hell.
Oh
that
my god! I wanted to throw my
Okay.
head through a window.
That movie is silly, Robert, but I thought it was funny.
I thought Kevin Hart was the best part of that movie, and I don't even like Kevin Hart.
There you go. That is a positive. If you don't like someone and you think they're the best part of something, then that's kind of a home run in that particular area. Because like Kevin Hart, him pretending to be Danny Glover. He did such a great job. I was like, holy shit, he is Danny Glover.
Yeah. That's what I saw in the trailer. That's what got me hooked, man. I was like, yes. And in the trailer for the first one, when they told him to go in the thing, he's like, I got a backpack. You don't go in the water with a back. Dude, I started like, I don't even like Kevin Hart, but I was laughing my ass off in that part. So you won me over, Terrence. You won me over. I will watch Jumanji before I ever watch Dark Fate.
Man, Robert, I can't tell you, Robert, like how many times I must have damn near died laughing, especially with the recent Jumanji. I do believe there is an alligator over there. Like it was just the setup and the whole thing. Like it was amazing.
The part where he's like, he's talking too slow, we're gonna die.
Yeah. Well,
That
let
was
me
just
tell you
funny,
about
man.
the
Do they
kangaroo.
act
I'm
like
like,
that through the whole movie? It's not like one of
yes.
those movies
Yeah.
where they start to do it and then like
It,
halfway through they just
no,
forget and they just act normal again.
no, Robert. Like, cause the thing of the Jumanji game, it's like a video game. You get sucked in.
Yeah, I know the
Yeah,
concept
yeah,
of it.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, so because of that, they have to do that the whole movie. That's
Okay,
the
I'm just
plot.
making sure
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
know like a lot of directors, like for instance, Scarlet Witch was German the entire time, right? And then in Civil War she just speaks English. Like I was just wondering if they were doing something like that in the movie.
No.
No. They do change. They do change
But it's
close to
because
the
their
end.
person changes, right?
Well, yeah.
Right.
They change
But
in the second
but
one because they're different characters.
Yeah.
But when you get
right.
that character, it's throughout the whole movie.
Okay. All right.
No. Danny DeVito changes. Remember, the girl plays him at the end, and she did a good job playing Danny DeVito too.
No. I know that. I'm saying that once he gets a character, it will stay. Like they do
Okay.
have
Oh yeah,
their character
absolutely.
changes, but that will stay though, as long as they're supposed to be whatever character they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
You guys won me over, man. You guys won me over, and I'm a hard person to win over.
Okay. Speaking of things we anticipate to see, what do y'all think about what most exciting?
Magneto? Oh, that lineup.
What do y'all want to see? What y'all don't care about? What do you think is going to be a flop?
Man, it's gonna be 10 years before we see any of these.
Yeah.
For real.
I am looking forward to this. What if? I think
Me too.
That's the one I'm least looking forward to.
Oh,
Really?
okay.
Because it's not
guys,
gonna be it's not gonna be connected to anything. It's all what if.
okay.
Yeah,
like,
but did you see the trailer for it?
all right. I think this deserves that we all go one by one and tackle all these. Let's do that.
I go last.
Sure.
Okay, we go with Black Widow. I'm pretty sure all four of us are ready is ready to see that. Based on we done saw 2, I think maybe 3 trailers. Black Widow's a kick-ass character. We know what she can do. I personally was sad that she was killed. I wish it would have been Hawkeye instead of her, but that's here nor there. So for Black Widow, I'm definitely ready to see it. How about you, Jason?
I'm definitely ready to see it. I disagree with you though about her dying in Endgame. I think her dying had more of an impact than if Hawkeye would die. I would have liked to have seen. I mean, I like the fact that she did die instead of Hawkeye. I don't think it would have had the same impact, but I'm definitely excited to see Black Widow for sure.
Okay. How about you, Robert? I'm sorry, you want to go last. Terrence, Black Widow.
Okay, so we just Black Widow for right now.
Yeah. We
Okay,
go one at a time.
got you. Okay, Black Widow. I'm one of the individuals where I'm like, look, how do you do Captain Mediocre Shoehorn Marvel before you do Black Widow? Don't make no sense. Nobody asked for Captain Marvel. She has some of the worst comic books I ever read. This, what's the point? And you got Black Widow there since phase 1. Fine ass Scarlett Johansson doing backflips, roundhouse kicking people through cars and windows. And you mean to tell me that we just barely getting the Black Widow movie? Okay. And the thing that's funny about this is I've seen movies like Atomic Blonde and Red Sparrow from Jennifer Lawrence, especially Red Sparrow. That is the most Black Widow movie I've ever seen,
Agreed.
minus the fighting. So I was like, if you mix Red Sparrow with one of Kevin Feige's ideas, you will have the perfect Black Widow movie, right? So seeing the trailers, I'm like, yeah, cool. You got Taskmaster, you got the Red Guardian. They'll probably show us the Russian version of the Avengers that are there because, you know, Russia always has their little answer to America. So I'm like, they can dive into all that. They got the whole family theme, like Dominic Toretto, family. Like, it's just the whole thing. And at the last part of the most recent trailer, it was a family moment, but it made me smile and laugh when Natasha's mother was like, Natasha, don't slouch. You're going to get a back hunch. He's like, up. Like, she's like, enough, all of you. Like, I was like, okay, that's probably going to be a tender moment. I'm assuming that after that, it's probably going to be a bomb going through the window. They're going to get blown up and shit. So the potential for it to be Winter Soldier like, which I still attest to being one of the best MCU movies ever made, period,
Mm-hmm.
is there. So the action is there. And I noticed that from the trailer, whatever trailer you want to talk about from Black Widow, from the trailers, it already looks better than everything in Captain Marvel from the trailers because
Mm-hmm.
you have substance. She has maybe multiple villains because she has Taskmaster, she has the FBI coming after her, she has multiple challenges. And whatever
General
else is in
Ross.
Russia, yeah, General Ross, he got his own
Mm-hmm.
thing. She has to deal with the other Black Widows from the Red Room. She has multiple challenges, and she has to probably do some stuff with her family, maybe win them over. They get into arguments, whatever, whatever. Compared to Captain Marvel, she just didn't have no memories. Like fuck that. Anyway, so I'm excited about Captain Marvel, or excuse me, damn, Phil. I'm excited about Black Widow because I think she's a badass character. I really want to see a badass woman doing badass things, and there's no agenda, there's no shoehornness. It's all earned, and we've all been, well, not all of us, but a fair number of us have been waiting for a proper Black Widow storyline. So I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
Robert, what's your take on it?
I want to second what Jason said, where I also feel the death of Black Widow in Endgame was it meant more for her to die rather than Hawkeye. Just her sacrifice and what she's done, and all, especially since we heard about the red in her ledger since the first Avengers, it just made more sense that she was sacrificed. She doesn't have a family, and for her to give her sacrifice, and then when Tony's like, "Did she have family?" and Cap was like, "Yeah, us." It made more sense if the roles would have been reversed and it would have been Hawkeye and been like, "Did they have family? Yeah, they're on the farm. Let's go tell them." It just made Black Widow's sacrifice a little more meaningful, I think. And I think Kevin Feige doesn't do anything by accident. I think that will be brought up again in after credit scene in Black Widow. There's stuff about pin particles I'm hearing that she had when she fell or something. I'm just, I have a feeling Kevin Feige is smart. He knows what he's doing. I also think everything Terrence said, I agree with him 100% on. Especially the fact that we got Captain Marvel before Black Widow film, I think is ludicrous. Even though I will defend, to a certain extent, Captain Marvel. I do think some people kind of throw shit at that movie unnecessarily without understanding everything. That doesn't mean I don't agree with Terrence. I do think Black Widow is a better character, more interesting, and should have had a movie first. So I just kind of agree with both Jason and Terrence, and that's really all I gotta say. And I'm looking forward to the movie. Hopefully, we get to see it this decade.
For real.
I'm gonna say one more thing. I know that there was a debate between me and Robert at one time, and I went back and watched Endgame. Black Widow. There's this rumor kicking around that she and her sister switched faces and did this kind of face-off thing. And Robert Point was, just listen to me. Robert Point was, there ain't no way because Red Skull would have called her out and said blah 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 blah. Okay, if you go back and watch it, Red Skull, when Thanos and Gamora goes there, he says, Gamora, daughter of Thanos. Thanos ain't Gamora's real parent. It's that lady that was killed on the planet. So why didn't he say that instead of saying Thanos?
Danny, first of all, Thanos is not her real father. True, in the comics, he kidnapped her. Thanos kidnaps people and be like, "Hey, you family. Oh, you want to die? Okay, I guess you my daughter."
Yeah, he's like a more aggressive Vin Diesel.
Family. Yeah, exactly. So Robert is exactly right. That is definitely what it is.
He wears tank top and he's bald too.
Yeah, so all Red Skull was doing was pointing out the facts, but to get the Soul Stone, you have to lose someone you love. If it would have been, say, Yolanda or whatever from the Red Room, then it wouldn't have made any sense because there's no love connection there.
Yeah, she doesn't love Hawkeye.
I'm not doubting Thanos didn't love her. I'm just saying.
No, he's talking about Black Widow. If it was, if it wasn't really Black Widow and it was a face swap and it was Florence Pugh's character, her sister, right? And Hawkeye would have thrown her off or she would have jumped off. There's no love between those two, so we wouldn't get the Soul Stone. And,
right? And yeah, Yeah, so Red Skull would have been like, did you not hear what the fuck I said about you have to love him? And then Hawkeye would have been like, what? And then it would have had the whole reveal, and then he'd have been like, you want to try again, or you want me to like eject your ass out of here? You think this is a joke, huh?
Yeah, because I still stand by Red Skull would have caught on to that. And to answer your thing about him going back and say Gamora, daughter of so and so, that is the way Gamora is introduced to all of us, is that she is Gamora, the daughter of Thanos. That's that was the first thing Drax introduced Thor to. He's like, this is Gamora. She's the daughter of Thanos. You know, like everybody's introduced to her as the daughter of Thanos. Same thing with Nebula. Doesn't mean that they are their, you know,
legitimate daughter.
Yeah, it's just that's what they are known by. And you know, and even Natasha said when Red Skull told her first, you know, what her parents' real names is, she told Hawkeye, she's like, I didn't even know that. And if that wasn't true, Red Skull would have called, no, bitch, that's not really Natasha. Like, I don't know who this imposter is.
Yeah, his position is to be all knowing within the context of getting the Soul Stone. Like that's his job. That's what he's
that's what he has to suffer for an eternity for what he did in Captain America.
Yeah,
First Avengers. He's now the gatekeeper.
Right. So and even in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, when they're in the prison, they're like, yeah, that's fucking Thanos' daughter. Yeah, your daddy ain't here. We about to wreck you. And then for some reason, I was like, okay, these aliens are dumb as fuck. So did you just forget that she got trained by Thanos? Or like, I mean, I don't know what it is with certain characters when they're like, yeah, this person isn't around. So you don't think that this person has training?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Have any of you guys heard the new rumors for Black Widow though?
Is it super spoilery, and it could be like
you see, that's the thing, it's a rumor, so I don't know if it's true or not. It's like, maybe I shouldn't say it to you guys if you don't want to know, but using something.
Okay, like I'll jump off for like 40 seconds, and if you guys want to talk about it, I will be back in 40 seconds. Is that what you guys want to do? Or but then again, if I jump out and I come back in and I hear it, that'd be fucked.
We'll talk about it after the show.
Yeah, we got 11, no problem.
We got 11 things to cover. Next one is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. After seeing that brief preview, I'm definitely ready for it. I want to see how the Falcon transitions into being the next Captain America. Is it going to be more like the comic book? Are they going to give him some kind of serum to enhance him, or is he just going to go basically off what he already know and what Cap taught him? I'm interested in seeing that. Winter Soldier, we already know what he can do. I'm a fan of his, but more so, I'm really interested in seeing. In fact, after I saw Cap gave the shield to the Falcon, I went to my comic book store and was trying to read every Captain America book I could involving the Falcon. Couldn't find many, but I'm really not familiar with that storyline. I've heard that he did get some kind of enhancement. Not sure. I don't know what Kevin Feige is going to do. I hope that he does. I don't think that his basic prowess or his skill set now is going to be enough. But I'm really interested in seeing how that's going to go. So, Jason, you're next.
Oh yeah, that's the one I'm the most excited for. Like, I can't wait to see it. When I saw the trailer, I was like, yes, I'm in. But I actually don't think he becomes Captain America in the series. I've heard some stuff. I don't know if it's true or not, but I really don't think he becomes Captain America in this series.
Okay. All right. Robert, we'll let you go because Terrence usually
We're talking about Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Jason, that's the one I'm most excited for. I after Endgame, that was the next movie I wanted to see, was a Captain America 4 with Falcon. Anthony Mackie, I love him as an actor. I loved him in every movie he's done, including We Are Marshall. I think is one of my favorite movies with him in it. I was actually happy that they decided to go the Falcon route rather than Winter Soldier. I just don't. I like Sebastian Stan. I just don't think he's enough to carry the Captain America mantle in his own movie. I think the show, like Jason, I don't think we're going to see him as Captain America. I think they're going to do something like the Daredevil show, where season 1, he doesn't really become Daredevil until the last episode. I think we're going to see him become Captain America either like the last part of the last episode or in the last episode. But I think it's going to be him and Bucky on the run from the government because they're still outlaws. They still haven't signed the document. They're still against the government, and I think that's why we see the government hiring Kurt Russell's son to be the new Captain America. So I think it's gonna be what's that character's name? The new Captain America guy. Oh fuck!
Agent.
Something soldier or something like that.
Yeah, agent or something.
U.S. agent.
Yeah.
U.S. agent. Yeah.
U.S. agent. Yeah.
Wyatt Russell, Kurt Russell's son, is playing that character, which looks like they're trying to groom a new Captain America. Meanwhile, I think Bucky and Sam are going to be on the run. It's my most anticipated one because we're going to get Baron Zemo done right. He's going to be donning the mask. We're going to be seeing Sharon Carter, who I think is extremely underused in Winter Soldier and in Civil War. Sharon Carter's coming back. It feels like the sequel to Civil War that we haven't got. And because I think arguably we can all say, I guess everybody has their own opinion, but I think the Captain America movies have been the best at the MCU when we look at like the 3 Iron Man, the 3 Captain Americas, the 3 Thors. The best trilogy out of those have been the Captain Americas. Like the Iron Man was like good, and then it kind of went down. Thor was like good, bad, good. Even Avengers was like good. Age of Ultron, not so good. Infinity War, good. It was up and down, but Captain America kept getting better with each movie. And I think you look at those characters; those are the keystone of the MCU, man. If it wasn't for Captain America, we wouldn't have Shield the way they are. We wouldn't have Hydra the way they are. Like everything that happened in Winter Soldier set up the entire MCU. It's not Iron Man. Iron Man started it, but his movies didn't involve the MCU. Captain America did. So for that to be the first Disney Plus show, that could really set up what the rest of the Disney Plus shows are going to be. And to me, I was looking more forward to that than The Mandalorian. And I'm still waiting for the Winter Soldier Falcon show.
Yeah. I agree with that. All right, Terrence.
All right. So multiple fronts. Number one, Bucky in the context of the MCU would not become Captain America because he's still on the run and he is seen as a serial killer. So that's a problem, especially when you're taking up the mantle of Captain America, the honor, the discipline. It's not fitting. In terms of Sebastian Stan, I think that if the circumstances for his character were different, he would be fine in carrying something because he has a large fan base. Like so many people around the world love him. There's a lot of females that love him. So whatever he's in is going to draw a certain number of people. That's facts there. But on another front, in the comics, there was a lot of racism in terms of the characters in that storyline where Falcon becomes the Captain America. They were discussing with the government, like, hey, is America ready for a black Captain America? And you had a black man say, no, they're not, which I found to be interesting. So that was a whole discussion. I don't know if Disney has the balls to get into that kind of stuff.
I don't know if Disney, but Kevin Feige does have the balls.
Well, I think that a lot of stuff will be glossed over. I think it'll be implied, but there's a difference between it being implied and them actually focusing on it in the way that they did in the comics. I don't see that happening, but it's possible. And then you did have this other guy that they groomed to be Captain America. It didn't work out. He was an asshole. He was a savage. And then, that's when you had Falcon come in and assume the mantle properly in a way that Steve Rogers would have wanted. It looks like they are setting up the different things that I mentioned. It's just really a question of how deep are they going to go. I'm picturing it being more of a surface level thing. And what I mean by that is there won't necessarily be a lot of substance. Like a lot of the MCU, their patterns is they're very surfacey. There's not anything deep. They're very big on something that's formulaic. There's a lot of flash. We're probably going to get cool action sequences. Baron Zemo will probably be improved. All that stuff will probably happen, and I'm sure we're going to watch it. We're going to enjoy it, and I don't think we're going to be surprised with what we get. And in terms of it being like Captain America evolving the MCU, that's true what Robert said. However, we all know if Iron Man would have failed, there'd have been no MCU.
That's
That's
true.
just the facts of the equation. Like it was so pivotal there. And then I remember at the time when it was me and some friends were like, oh, they're doing an Iron Man movie. And we heard a rumor. We didn't know if it was true at the time. It was just like they're trying to do this full blown cinematic universe. And I'm like, that's gonna be hard because while, us, there's enough of us to watch it. It's like if you don't get the average person, if you don't get my mom and my dad that just seems to hate movies to go watch it, then you're going to fail. You won't get to Avengers or any of that crap. It's just not going to happen. So that was very important for that to succeed. And even really the entire phase one, you needed Iron Man, Thor, Cap, Hulk, you needed Avengers, you needed all that. And then after that, when you get to like Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and you get to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you have different pillars that keep the MCU stabilized. And then you kind of branch out from there. So I think that Falcon and Winter Soldier can be another pillar to kind of branch off into things of the future. And these are more of what Kevin Feige called MCU proper shows. The Netflix stuff, Runaways, Cloak and Dagger, that's not MCU proper. There's no movie characters in that. They're afraid to even mention that stuff. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the only one that had movie characters from the MCU movies. But even then, they still kind of went off and ignored the snap and they were never affected. So I'm looking forward to actually getting an MCU proper show under the direction of Kevin Feige.
I hear the reason why they ignored us. I'm sorry, Danny. I hear the reason why they ignored the snap was because they didn't know if they were going to have another season, and by the time that they did realize the season was coming up, it was too late to go back and change everything.
That is,
I heard that too.
I will tell you that is 100% false. Jeff Loeb is the guy that was running Marvel TV. Him and Kevin Feige hate each other.
Well, not only that, but Crow Mutter was in charge of the TV, and Crow Mutter and Kevin Feige didn't like each other.
Right, like it, but Jeff Loeb was like that overseer. And if you notice, Jamie Alexander, an actress who I really like, she's on one of my favorite shows called Blind Spot, the chick with the tattoos and stuff. Yeah. Like she plays Lady Sif. But notice after she went on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., never fucking saw her again. There's a reason for that. That doesn't mean that you won't necessarily see her later now that Kevin Feige has creative control over all that shit, Marvel, even the comic books. But it's just interesting because in a way, I'm glad that Kevin Feige didn't have his hands on the shows because that gave me different flavors. Yeah. I get tired of having the same old shit with the same color palettes. I'm like, we need different flavors. We need shit like Daredevil and Luke Cage and Marvel's Runaways. We need characters like Kilgrave.
I think we will with Blade, though.
I think we will too. And it would be one of the few because the MCU is formulaic. They have all about maybe 5 to 6 movies out of their 23 to 24 that actually stand out. The rest kind of more or less blend together. You have predictable villains. You know how it's going to play out. You have cheerable moments. It's like Martin Scorsese said. It's like amusement park, fast food stuff. Everybody loves it.
There's a reason for that, though.
Yeah, there is a reason for it, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. All I'm saying is that it's formulaic, it's predictable. That's all. It is what it is. It's not meant to be Oscar movie stuff. It's just meant to entertain.
All it is a television show in movie form. That's all it is. That's why everything is so formulaic. Because if you look at a television show, each television show, whether it's Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, Empire, it doesn't matter. Each episode is usually directed by someone different, but it all feels the same because it has the formulaic. You have the showrunner. Kevin Feige is the showrunner of the MCU. You have different directors, but it all looks the same. The MCU is the only movie franchise in history to ever generate as much money as it did, because they went with a completely different formula, like a television show, and it made every movie a must-see movie to get the next chapter in the story. It's fucking brilliant when you think about it.
It's very brilliant, but it doesn't change my point. Like with
No,
television
I
shows,
get your point 100%.
right. Like with television shows, it's like sure you have a formula, but I can go to different television shows and get different things. Usually, like with Black Widow, I guarantee you when that comes out, we're gonna watch it. We're gonna say it's awesome. We're gonna talk about the scenes. We know what's gonna happen. We know it's gonna make money. There's not gonna be anything surprising about it because that is the track record of the MCU. At this point, the only thing that can be surprising about an MCU when you discount this character shows up, that character shows up. When you discount that, the only thing that can really truly be 100% surprising is if an MCU movie is a financial disaster because that hasn't happened yet. That's all I'm saying.
Well, if you go by like something surprising, if you think about it, the only movie that ever did anything in the MCU that's absolutely surprising that changed the whole landscape was Winter Soldier. Well, the fact that they made Shield Hydra undercover, that one, it was surprising, no one saw that coming, and two, it changed the complete landscape of the MCU. Since then, there hasn't been anything. Yes, there's been deaths, but that's not really surprising. It doesn't change the landscape. So when you really think about it, it's only been that one thing that's really done anything.
Well, I think it's a couple. I think number one, it would start with Iron Man. That changed the landscape for comic book movies forever. Iron Man.
True. I'm talking about since the birth of the MCU, because Iron Man, I don't really consider Iron Man the birth of the MCU, even though technically it is. It wasn't until Iron Man 2 is when we got into the MCU.
That's very true, Robert. But you wouldn't have that without Iron Man 1.
True.
Right?
True.
So I think that, like you said, Winter Soldier, Iron Man 1, and the first Avengers movie, because it was at that point that people like my mom that did not see every single movie building up. And then they're like, oh, so the guy with the hammer and the guy with the shield, they're all together now.
Yeah.
Everybody went because they hadn't seen that before. It was just this, it was a literal event, and it made all this money. And I remember there were so many people back in the day, you get beat up if you wore a fucking Captain America shirt. You get your head put in the toilet. But now everybody going out to buy them. They're getting laid and shit, getting their dick sucked because they got a Captain America shirt. The landscape has changed because of stuff like the Avengers. And then you go over to like something like Black Panther, you have a large number of African Americans that were watching that in a way that they weren't necessarily watching every single MCU movie. They did this whole, we need to be as diverse as possible now because of that. You know, it spun a lot of different things. So
yeah, you're right about Avengers. I totally forgot, especially with the whole Thanos at the end, because that set up the whole 3 phases actually. So yeah.
And that's, and I was just gonna say, that's one of the things I heard, is that during the real first phase, they weren't actually sure how they were gonna go. Because if you look at it, they have Tony Stark as the one who's supposed to be the leaders of the Avengers. It's General Ross that comes and talks to him. But supposedly after in phase 2, they switched it up, Captain America, and they did all of that. You know?
Yeah, that's true. And you know what? I think that has to do with the storytelling, how it evolved, because Tony, he's more the guy where you want him there, but Captain America is the leader. He's the one that tends to be level-headed. He cares about everyone. He's like, right. He's basically their Superman. You know, he's like, hey, do this. Hey, that's wrong. Think about this. Well, what about these people? He questions Nick Fury. Everybody just be like, all right, Nick Fury. Cap be like, Nick, are you sure about that, man? Like, you know, he's that guy. So he has respect and popularity because he's the guy that does stuff that maybe other people are afraid to do.
And just, I know we're still talking about upcoming movies, but I just kind of want to throw this reference out because I did rewatch Endgame a few days ago. One of the callbacks from the first Avenger movies, what I thought was brilliant, was Captain America told Tony, "You're never the guy that would lay on the wire unless someone goes cross." And for Tony to give up his life at the end of Endgame, it was a nice callback to the Avengers, showing that Tony was in fact the guy that would give his life to save everyone. I just thought that was a brilliant comeback. I don't think people give the MCU as much credit as it should for being multi-layered and actually looking at the source material and doing callbacks. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to throw that out there too.
Well, I mean, from my perspective, it's the opposite. Like, everyone that I talk to, they love the MCU, and they might even give it too much credit, and they don't admit when it has flaws. Like the MCU, Kevin Feige has succeeded in the brilliant concept and the execution, and everybody loves it so much to where I've had people tell me Captain Marvel is the greatest MCU movie ever made.
That's just blasphemy.
Yeah, it is. But if you can get people to say that, you've succeeded in so many ways. It's hard to count them all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that love the MCU, but like anything, once something gets so popular, you get a certain amount of people that just hate on it just to hate on it. Just like people hate on Captain Marvel. Like, look, Captain Marvel is not the best movie ever, but people hate on that movie so bad, and it's not warranted. Not that much hate anyway. Like even Adam's like, how come she doesn't fucking smile? How come she doesn't do that? Because she's a soldier who lost her memory, who was trained by an alien race that told her to hide her emotions. They say it 1,000,000 times in the movie. That's why she doesn't fucking smile.
That's funny because that's definitely something, and then it just be me in the theater with the feet kicked up, and I'm looking at the Captain Marvel comics. I'm like, man, this bitch is smiling a lot. Look at this. She got the most arrogant face in Marvel history.
But like even in the movie when Jude Law is training her, she does a little smirk. He's like, I told you not to smile, bitch. So she's trained not to show emotion, just like a Terminator's trained not to show, or a Terminator's program not to show emotion.
You might as well be a damn Terminator. Like,
but a lot of people throw so much shade at that movie, and like I said, is it a generic paint by numbers Marvel movie? Absolutely. But it is not the abomination that people made it out to be.
I think it only depends on their reasoning. Like the reasons that I explained as to why I don't like it as much as others, I feel I gave very valid reasons, and I included actual stuff from Marvel Comics on top.
Yeah.
I tackled it from many directions. The people that are like, I don't like it because she's a female or any of that, that's silliness, and you should ignore it. There's those idiots too. That has never been my approach.
Or they don't like it because it's an agenda or something like that. You know what I
mean? It definitely was an agenda, but at the same time, it's like it depends. Like I said, it depends on their reasoning. What they're going to say.
I got an agenda. I want to get these 11 topics. We still on topic.
We waiting for you, Danny. You going in and out, shaking all around.
Shit, you don't never stop.
You know how we are. Danny, you know how me, you, and Jason are. Now we got Robert, and it's like that's so much knowledge floating around.
You better start reading my facial cues.
I was Danny. I was watching.
You the host, man. You need to be like, all right, guys. Next topic, man.
I'm trying to be nice. All right, next topic. Y'all hear next topic? That means we cut it short. Eternals.
Right, gotcha.
Eternals. I'm gonna let Robert go first. What do you think about this, Robert?
So Falcon Winter Soldier was my most anticipated Disney Plus show. Eternals is my most anticipated of the upcoming movies, only because of the potential that it could have. 1, all-star cast. 2, we could get nuggets to lead into the birth of Galactus, which could be the next big bad of the next saga. There's rumors that Galactus could be I can't pronounce it. Celestial. Much like we saw the head from nowhere in the Guardians of the Galaxy. There's rumors that we could get end credits scene with Galactus. We can learn about the birth of him. We can learn more backstory about Thanos in the Eternals. I love the cast. I love the fact that Kit Harington, Jon Snow is in this. Angelina Jolie, Rob Stark. I forgot his actual real name. Mad Mikkelsen. No, not Mad Mikkelsen. Was something, whatever. But you know what I mean. Just an all-star cast, a diverse cast, and in fact, it's the first thing that none of us know a damn thing about. It's like the Guardians of the Galaxy all over again. We have no idea what the fuck we're gonna see.
People are comparing it to that. So do you think that's a fair comparison?
Yeah, I think it's a Great comparison. Like you look at the rest of these movies. Black Widow, we know we're gonna get a spy type movie. Shang-Chi, we know we're gonna get a kung fu movie. Blade, we know we're gonna get a vampire movie. Thor, we know we're gonna get a Thor movie. Doctor Strange, we seen the first movie. We know what we're gonna get. Eternals, we have no fucking idea what we're gonna get. So it's the most question mark, and this is gonna be the one where people start go, is this gonna be the first flop? No, it's not. Just like Guardians of the Galaxy was not a flop. So I'm gonna make mine super short, but those are all the reasons why I am most excited. That's my most anticipated film of Phase 4.
Good deal. All right, Jason, what do you think, sir?
At first, I wasn't because I don't really know much about the Eternals. But listen to Rob and the points he made about making into Galactus and all of that. I'm like, you know what? And I was one of them. I didn't know nothing about Guardians of the Galaxy either. And when I went to see that movie, I was like, yo, this is like one of the top 5 MCU movies. You know what I mean? So I'm expecting that with Eternals too. It's possible. Like they have a good Marvel has a good track record, so they can take something that nobody knows and turn it into a winner.
All right, Terrence.
At this point, I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy was the first movie that Kevin Feige was afraid of, whether they want to say it out loud or not, because that is a movie where you have a talking tree and a raccoon. If that movie would have failed, a lot of stuff they probably would have skated around. Guardians opened up the cosmic aspect of the MCU. All of that crap. I don't care if it's the Gore, the God Butcherer, the Beyonder. I don't care who you're going to name. They're all connected to bigger cosmic problems that are bigger than anything that's going to happen on Earth. So I was happy for that. That succeeded. So something like the Eternals, while it's a question mark, it's still an MCU movie. It's guaranteed to make some kind of money. How much, we don't know, but it's going to make its money. In terms of the cast that they have a talented cast. What I don't like is that they went out of their way to blatantly race swap and gender swap pretty much all the characters. For what reason? Diversity, I guess. So I'm like, I hope they don't focus on that during the movie instead of focusing on the fact that the Celestials created the Eternals and the Deviants. I know quite a bit about the Eternals and their connection to the overall Marvel universe. That again will open more cosmic doors. Hopefully they show the part where they lose their memory and how the difference is when they were in the past versus how they operate in present day. Some of them actually do become Avengers. So which members are they going to allow to be the part of the Avengers, and how are they going to get their memories back? In the context of the MCU, they could write it as to where when they were snapping left and right like it was a holiday, maybe the ripple effect of the energy is what caused them to get their memories back, because there has to be some sort of event that would bring back the memories of a fucking Eternal, because they're already powerful in itself. And in the comics, I think they said there was one particular way that you could kill them. So when you want to talk about unkillable characters, there's some of the few where that actually does apply to a large degree. So it will be very interesting to see what they do with the characters, again, the different time periods and what kind of cosmic doors they open up, because Galactus, for all intents and purposes, is a celestial. So maybe they can find a way to use that to introduce him. As Rob said, there's so many possibilities. I feel like the more you know about these characters, the more your eyes will light up when you hear the idea of the Eternals versus, say, someone that doesn't know. It will be more of a question mark. But I tell you what, I don't care if it's one question mark or 10, they're going to go see it because it's an MCU movie. That's all I got to say.
I agree with all three of y'all. Robert made it kind of really like, I'm ready to see this shit now. Based on what he was saying. I think it's gonna be. I'm not a fan of Guardians of the Galaxy, but I will go see this. I think they're gonna be a more better version of the Guardians of the Galaxy. As far as I don't know, I didn't know about Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know anything about them. I couldn't tell you the first name of anybody on there other than the Black Knight. And I think he's maybe like a part, not necessarily a Eternal. I can remember him from the Spider-Man cartoon. What's up, Perp? And
What up?
He's one of the ones that does join the Avengers, by the way.
Yeah, I can remember. I don't think he's an Eternal, but I think he's maybe like someone that's affiliated with them. But I'm definitely excited about seeing this movie based on what I've heard from what Rob said. Well, let me change that. It's going to be the trailer, just like this new Batman. I've seen the pictures, I've seen the model cars, I've seen some of the bat suit, the bat motorcycle. But that first trailer is going to be what's going to decide whether or not I'm ready to see it or
The
not.
MCU's always have good trailers, though.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, to be fair though, Danny, for me, the trailer can suck, and I'm still gonna go by default. I'm just telling you that
yeah,
now.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
still gonna go. Just like you said, like we discussed yesterday. When they make a Guardians of the Galaxy 3, do I really want to go see it? No. But I'm gonna go see it because it makes no sense for me to have a channel like this and not go see the very content I'm discussing.
That's
So
why I saw Bloodshot.
that's basically what I'm
And
seeing.
and 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 I enjoyed Bloodshot. By the way, I didn't
So
get
did
into
I.
that, but I enjoy it. I
Mhm.
So did I.
enjoyed
Me
it.
too.
I thought that movie was garbage. I'm sorry.
It's
Really?
garbage, but it's fun garbage.
It's entertaining. I wanted to see their version of the variant comics version of their cinematic universe. I want to see that.
Well, next topic is going to be Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi. I'm going to let the new person, Perk, go first. Basically, what we're doing is we're going through the Phase 4 timeline and discuss what movies we're excited to see or aren't excited to see and why.
Uh,
So,
All
next
right.
movie on the list is Shang-Chi.
Oh, what's up,
I,
Perp? Like, I didn't even
what up? What
realize you
up?
popped up. Like, what the fuck?
What's good, Darius? But I just want to give my short takes on the Eternals. Before I get to the Shang-Chi thing. I'm not hyped for Eternals at all because all this time they could have just given us little tidbits on like what the story is actually going to be about, but instead they say, "Oh, it's going to have this gay kiss, and there's going to be like this like love triangle or something like that." And I was like, I don't care about this movie. Tell me just something about this movie. Until I see something interesting, I don't.
They haven't started marketing it yet. That's why you're just reading behind the scenes stuff.
I mean, I know, but it's like I just figured they give us a little bit of something. You know what I'm saying? Just
I
give
think
me something.
I think Eternals are going to be a much better version of Inhumans. That's what I'm thinking. That's what in my mind's eye. That's what I'm seeing. A much better written version and better characters than
Yeah,
Inhumans.
yeah, I'm hoping so. Like by the time we see this trailer, because that's all I'm banking on now. It's like if this trailer's good, then all right, they got my money. But right now, I don't care for it. Shang-Chi, this could be a toss up. This could have like a Black Panther effect, possibly, or they could just this could be like their version of like a Kung Fu Hustle or something like that, where it's just all martial arts and uh and just jokes and stuff. But I think I like the direction that they're going in. It's definitely kind of suspect when you look at this list because there's nothing that really like it's just not really nothing that like is that wows people or it's just like oh I gotta go see that or unless if you're like a huge comic book fan and stuff you're just gonna go see all these things. But Shang-Chi, I think Shang-Chi has a good chance of doing well. You know.
Okay. All right, Robert. What do you think?
Oh man, I got a lot to say about Shang-Chi. Okay, I'll keep it short. I don't want to keep everybody up, but this movie has me excited for one reason only. It retconned that god awful Iron Man 3. We will get
Yeah.
the 7 fucking rings and the Mandarin that we all wanted to see in that goddamn movie. Okay, how they did my boy Mandarin so fucking dirty. Thank God we're gonna get this. Okay, and another thing is. This movie, like besides the Mandarin, I really don't care about the movie. I think it's going to be a pretty much a straightforward MCU formulaic movie, just with Asian characters. So I don't expect too much. It's going to be like your Captain Marvel and your other MCU movies. Just replace the characters with Asian characters and add kung fu. I'm excited because Mandalorian, but this movie will make a bajillion dollars, not a billion, a bajillion. After all this virus shit, this will probably be the biggest opening in China we have ever seen ever. Like people are going to be like lining up for years to go see this fucking movie in China just because of this damn virus thing.
You think this is a perfect storm that it might surpass Endgame because of that very reason?
I don't think it's going to come anywhere near Endgame. Not even close. Maybe in China, maybe I would still say Mulan would have a better chance. But overall box office, not even close. Won't even scratch Endgame's ass. But I'm just excited for the Mandarin. I just feel like we need to give that character the proper respect. The fact that they didn't want to do Mandarin justice because they thought it was going to be racist is laughable. These characters existed on a comic page for years. When you don't do them justice, that's when it's to me, I think that's racist. When you don't do it justice, that's racist. I felt like the terrorist angle they try to go for in Iron Man 3. I thought that was interesting. I like Ben Kingsley playing the Mandarin and doing the whole terrorist angle. The problem is they didn't have the balls to stick with it, and then they just made a joke out of it. So I am looking forward to Shang-Chi to give us the Mandarin that we deserved as comic book fans. I will leave it at that, and then I will go to the next person.
All right, Terrence, you're up, Bubba.
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
He's scratching Endgame's ass.
So Rob, you think Shang-Chi's gonna crack $1 billion?
Yeah, if I had to put money on it, I would say yeah.
Okay.
Just on China alone, I think they have a better chance of hitting $1 billion.
I was just about to say that, like, Shang-Chi has the opportunity to be what Black Panther was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Right? Mm-hmm.
If I had a gun to my head and I had to choose yes or no, I would go yes.
Well, Terrence out. Go ahead and go, Jason. We'll come back to him.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's just it. Like I said, I'm excited. Favorite villains in the comics too, and I hated Iron Man 3 for that main reason of what they did to him. So the fact that he's gonna be in here, I'm like, yes, I'm down to see it.
See what they tried to do in Iron Man 3 was put two stories together, because that really was the extremist armor. If you ever read that story in Iron Man, that was delving into the extremist armor where the armor kind of came out of his pores and stuff. I don't know why they did that, try to combine both, but they didn't do a good job at it. But I totally in agreement with y'all. They totally destroyed and fucked over.
I think the reason why they I didn't mean to cut you off, Danny, but I think the reason why they forced the Mandarin in the third one was because when Jon Favreau directed 1 and 2, he kept promising fans the Mandarin would come in the third movie, and then when he left as director, they were like, "Well, shit, they kind of promised the Mandarin, so let's put this fucking thing in."
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys, but
Good.
yeah. In terms of the Mandarin, you know, Marvel holds the record for messing up a villain twice in the same movie. That was very disgusting and forced and ridiculous, and very disrespectful for those that were actually anticipating that character for years. In terms of Shang-Chi, I've heard a couple of things that I find to be distasteful. One is that they completely ripped off the Mortal Kombat stuff for the Shang-Chi plot, and they're doing this whole tournament thing. Now, I'm like, if they were making Iron Fist, that would make more sense because Iron Fist fights in the 7 cities of heaven, and then he ends up fighting the dragon to get the Iron Fist powers. So it sounds like, to some degree, they're stealing Iron Fist's stuff and giving it to Shang-Chi on top of more than Iron Fist that they're stealing the Mortal Kombat stuff. So I think what will end up happening is if that turns out to be true, whether it's 10 minutes of the movie or an hour of the movie, if that's in there at all, I'm going to be thinking that you have Liu Kang versus Shang Tsung at the end of the movie, which is not good. So the movie itself, I'm pretty sure is going to be entertaining. If they do it right, we should have the best fight scenes we've ever seen in the MCU, considering that this character is based on Bruce Lee, who I consider to be the greatest martial artist of all time. So if you're going to do that, you need to show respect to the fans of Shang-Chi. You need to do something respectful for the Asian community. You have a lot of areas to tackle. So starting off by doing the wrong material and pulling from something that clearly is going to have a movie around the same time called Mortal Kombat, you know, it's a little bit odd. But the things that I am looking forward to in Shang-Chi, assuming that they're not going to do all that silly shit that I read about, is the character in itself is interesting. You know, his whole training with the martial arts background. I have a martial arts background, so I'm automatically drawn to characters like Shang-Chi. And I think that again, with the fight scenes, we can get some really good stuff. Hopefully they show his it's like he has this area where he has a bunch of weapons in it, and one of which is called the Oramasa blade. That blade can kill people like Wolverine and Deadpool. You know, they can get into that kind of stuff to show the average person that not only is this guy a martial artist, he's going to become a member of the Avengers. He possesses weapons that would make Doctor Strange jealous. Like there's so many interesting things that go into the Shang-Chi, and if they're smart, they will bring in Iron Fist. You would do Shang-Chi and Iron Fist versus the Mandarin, because the Mandarin, from a fighting standpoint, is basically Jet Li and Bruce Lee fused together. It's somebody that you do not want to fight. So the audience needs to see how beast the Mandarin is, and the best thing you can do from a writing standpoint is have Shang-Chi throughout the whole movie just beating the piss out of people. The Mandarin comes in and slaughters the shit out of him. The audience thinks that he's gonna die, and then you bring in Iron Fist and they tag team his ass to victory. You know, that's what you should be doing. But I'm excited at what could
They're not going
possibly
to put a
be.
white guy in an all Asian movie.
They may not do that, but there's precedents for it in the comics. So
No, I
it,
agree
it
with you.
yeah, because they put a white guy in Black Panther, so
Yeah.
that's not ridiculous. They're always going to have a person off color. If it's all Asian, they're going to have a black person. They may have a white person, vice versa. So there's nothing wrong with that. When you bring in someone that's not the standard race in whatever story you're telling, all you have to do is do it in a respectful manner. Is there a purpose for this person to be here? In the case of Iron Fist, that's like his best buddy right there. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Iron Fist is best buddy. You got Shang-Chi and you got Luke Cage. There's a reason for that. So as long as you show the audience that, no one is going to have a problem with it. And it would also add to the excitement level for those that saw, unfortunately, Iron Fist season 1 on Netflix. Season 2 was better, but they didn't do that show the way it should have been done. Season 2 should have been season 1, and season 2 should have been better than season 2 of
Yeah,
Iron Fist.
Iron
But
So
Fist,
but
you,
Iron Fist was awful.
the one thing though, the one so I think if Shang-Chi is successful, I think they can introduce the new Iron Fist in the second movie. They cannot put Iron Fist in the first movie because at that point you're overshadowing your star character. Your star
no, no, no,
character is supposed to be Shang-Chi,
no, no,
not
no, no.
Iron Fist.
You're not going to overshadow him if you do it properly, which is why I said specifically the ending. The whole movie, the hour and 50 minutes, is spent building up Shang-Chi. People love him and they see that he needs help. That's no different than when you have other MCU movies where other characters come in to help other characters. Avengers help each other out all the time. There is no
Yeah, in
overshadowing.
Avengers movies, I
Yeah,
mean, no one helped
but
Tony out in Iron Man 1.
yeah, but we had Black Widow and Nick Fury in Iron Man 2.
Yeah, in Iron Man
There's
2.
precedents for that. And then in Thor's movies, we saw when we had Hulk
Yeah,
and
but
Thor in
we're
the
talking
same
about in
movie.
their sequels. I'm talking about in their first movie. No one helped Tony out in Iron Man 1. No one helped Cap out in Cap 1. No one helped Thor out in Thor 1. No one helped Captain Marvel out in Captain Marvel 1. No one helped um
Black Panther.
Black Panther or Doctor Strange in their standalone movies. They
Actually,
can
somebody did help Black Panther. Black Panther was damn near dead. He had a whole fucking village help him,
Yeah,
by the
but
way.
that was built up in the Black Panther universe. You can't introduce another character like Iron Fist, a character that a lot of people love, and put him in the very first Shang-Chi movie
It's
because
it.
at that point it takes away from Shang-Chi.
I do not think so, because this is different circumstances. With the Mandarin, you have to go all out because you've already fucked him up twice. You fucked him up twice. You have to bring him in a beast mode way. And if you bring him in properly, Shang-Chi is not going to be able to do the typical thing, which is when we watch an MCU movie, what happens? The villain shows up, they make a bunch of corny ass jokes, and the hero beats him very easily. You cannot do that with the Mandarin.
I'm just telling you, don't get your
Shang-Chi,
heart set, man, because they're not
I
doing that.
again, my heart is not set. This is just something. This is an avenue of that they can explore. This is a possibility. If you want to give the MCU another good villain, because they don't have a lot of good villains, the best thing that you can do is make it seem like the character that you just introduced is going to die by the villain. That's unusual for them to do. That's not their typical formulaic approach. So all I'm saying is that no matter what they do, Iron Fist or otherwise, I just want Shang-Chi to be done in a way that people can put some respect on his name, and it's not just this, it's just another MCU movie. Like, I don't want that fucking conversation. That's all I'm saying.
Mm.
Don't steal shit. Don't steal shit from other established franchises. Don't make the movie super silly. You need to get a good fight choreographer, because I swear to God, if I watch it and I think I can fuck up everybody in that movie, you have fucked up on the fight choreography. I don't want that. You need to get the right people to put some respect on Shang-Chi. You need to make sure.
Okay. I'm going to agree to disagree on that one, Robert and Terrence, but no big deal. Next topic will be WandaVision. Terrence, you can go first on this. I don't even care about WandaVision. Go ahead. Your thoughts.
Actually, me neither. When I saw the trailers and I saw it looked like some crap from I Love Lucy and all of that, I was like, meh.
Was not
You know what I
impressed.
mean? Yeah, me neither. I'll still watch it, of course. You know what I mean? It's Marvel. I'll still watch it. Hopefully, I am surprised. That's all I'm gonna say. It's just hopefully it's good.
Your thoughts, Terrence?
For me, that is the one I'm least excited about. I would rather watch all the other ones first than that. I think that the Scarlet Witch character, while cool, she does have her moments in the comics. I think she is one of the most overrated Marvel characters, period. Like, in the context of what they've done with her in the MCU, she is what kind of character is she? She's a character that has moments, right? Granted, that's the way they decided to take her. They could have taken her character in other directions, but I feel like Scarlet Witch is best when she's with other characters versus when she's by herself. So in this case, she's with Vision. Man, when she's with Vision, what does she want to do? She just want to fuck the circuits out of him, right? So that's what you're gonna get in the show. You're gonna get a bunch of romance stuff, and then probably when she experiences her 35th orgasm, she's gonna do the reality warping. You're gonna get all that kind of stuff, and then probably the final episode of the season is gonna lead into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So what I'm telling you is, I might watch it and think it's the greatest thing ever. Fine, but I have a feeling that the best moment of that show will be the final episode. I'm calling it now. It's gonna be that shit where everybody's gonna be talking about WandaVision, not so much because of how good it is, but because of a moment that's gonna take us into Doctor Strange 2.
Okay. Rob, you go.
Just because I want to talk about more important things, I'm just gonna go with everything Terrence just said. Almost word for word, I agree with him on everything he just said. I just think there's other things on this list more important that we should be talking about.
Very good. All right, Perp, what do you think?
I'm actually intrigued by this show because it might just end up being like a soap opera, like a Marvel MCU soap opera, but the potential it has to just do something creative as far as like episode by episode, like say first episode starts in black and white and then the next it's kind of paying homage to other like sitcoms and stuff and whatnot like that. But yeah, and I'm curious to see how this is going to tie into Doctor Strange and whatnot, and maybe she's in like an alternate universe or something like that, a completely different. I don't know what you would call it, but you know, I'm kind of interested in it.
All right. Okay, Jason.
I already went.
Okay. Well, I'm not interested at all. I wasn't excited about the trailer. When I saw the spot, I was like, this looks kind of dumb.
It's like the second weakest thing on this list.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it will, like I said, open the door for Doctor Strange 2. That's what I'm really wanting to see. In fact, I was watching Doctor Strange 1 before we went on the stream, and I had to cut it short. As soon as I get done, I'm gonna go back and finish it up. A couple of things I missed, but I'm gonna go back and watch it. So, having said that, we're gonna go to Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. I'm gonna start off with Jason. How do you feel?
Absolutely, Absolutely, I'm excited by that. First Doctor Strange was good. I loved it. Second one is going to actually open up the multiverse in the MCU. And that could be a way to explain Spider Man actually leaving and going back to Sony. So, yeah, I'm definitely excited to see that.
Okay, good deal. Perp, what do you think?
Yeah, this is definitely going out of all the Phase Four titles. I think this is going to be the best one. Uh, just based off the premise that like it's going to be dealing with. Hopefully, it they just don't like half-ass it and don't take advantage of just the multiverse, and we just end up going to like one alternate universe or something like that. I'm hoping for like a trippy, not psychedelic, but like it seemed like they were going in like a horror direction with this, but they might have changed course since the one director dropped out. But yeah, I think this is going to be the movie that kind of introduces Blade. Maybe we'll get like hints of all to what's to come in Phase Five with the X-Men and Fantastic Four. I think it'd be the perfect movie to do that.
Got you. Okay, Rob, what do you think, sir?
Well, Per pretty much hit what I was going to say. Because this movie this movie had the potential to be the Winter Soldier of this next saga, where Winter Soldier did the whole, Hail Hydra with Shield and kind of changed the whole landscape. This movie could do the same thing with the opening the other dimensions. It could give us the X-Men. It could give us Fantastic Four. It could give us, how Spider-Man leads, which I loved how Jason brought that up. That's a fantastic idea. But with them switching directors, this also could be the first movie to potentially I don't think it's gonna bomb. I don't think the MCU is capable of bombing right now, but it could have potential of not being the vision that originally was going to happen. I do think I want to see more Jutel Ejiofor. I want to see him come back because they tease him to be the next big villain. I want to see more of that. But I love Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. I want to see more of that, and I want to see more in the multiverse. I want to see more of that. Show us start if you're gonna do it for a reason. That's the thing. If you're gonna do it for a reason. Is this how you're gonna bring in the X-Men? Is this going to be the flashpoint of the MCU that's going to open up so many different things, open up the negative zone so we can get the Fantastic Four? This is the one I'm most curious about out of all the movies. This is the one I'm most curious about. I think Eternals is the one that has the biggest chance of changing everything. This is the movie I think has the biggest chance of being more curious because it could do so many interesting things. This and Eternals are the two movies that can really do so many interesting things for the landscape of the MCU moving forward.
Okay, Terrence, what do you think, sir? What's your opinions?
Um, first I gotta say I am very excited about this movie because of the possibilities. But before I go into the good parts, I wanted to address the possibilities of the negative stuff. I think that this movie, more than any other MCU movie, has the possibility of introducing the most sloppy, awkward, incoherent, forced content that we've ever seen. And that may come from a desperation to give everybody what they want to see all at once with no substance. And I hope that that is not the case because everything should not be coming from alternate dimensions because then you get the disjointed stuff and it can have a ripple effect. I think that if you're going to do alternate stuff, you can play around with the Spider-Man stuff. A lot of people they don't know a lot of Marvel villains. They've been sleeping on plenty of them, including Norman Osborn. There is some really epic stuff that you can do with Norman Osborn in terms of the multiverse and showcase that he's been there, he's been planning stuff, he's been trying to kill Spider-Man, and that can tie into Sinister Six. There's so many creative things that you can do while you have an ultimate looming threat in the background. I think that when they do Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, what we'll probably get is there has to be a problem. I want to see Mordo come back because they teased that at the end of the first Doctor Strange, and he's kind of just been out there chilling, gaining powers and stuff, drinking lemonade. You're like, damn, Strange then forgot all about me because he's been
Yeah.
dealing with Thanos. Hell yeah. Yep. And then we don't know what happened to him with the snap. Maybe it didn't do nothing. Maybe it did. Maybe when he came back, it got even worse. Now he has like a gazillion powers instead of 10, and then maybe, they can do something that I've been waiting on them to do, which is Dormammu coming out in complete full form, going, yeah, Strange, you remember that shit you did to me last time? I'm going to fuck your ass up now. And Doctor Strange gets overwhelmed and he gets his ass whooped. We could even get Mordo teaming up with Dormammu while Doctor Strange is dealing with the multiverse. Imagine, even though Doctor Strange has been through a lot with Infinity War, Endgame, his own stuff, imagine how hard that would have to be for him to try to keep this closed, keep this open, while Dormammu and Mordo is throwing punches to the side of his head through magical means. Like, that would be a hell
But
of
let's
a
not forget Scarlet Witch is supposed to be in the movie.
Yes, that's true. But in the case of Doctor Strange, right? You want to make it to where it's intense for him. Scarlet Witch is not going to be there all the time. For all we know, she could be sent somewhere by Doctor Strange to deal with another problem because he's dealing with 50 billion at the same time. People forget that Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch, they're very human in the way that they have to do all these hand gestures for their fucking spells. Like, if you got someone smart enough and fast enough, those characters cease to be impressive and they can get murked quick. So you need to show people that they can be in a situation where that can happen. When you take seconds to implement spells, that is a weakness. It's
You already
only
seen
as
that
good.
in game that got the telekinesis did that to Strange.
Right, yeah. It's like Ebony Maw. Like, Ebony Maw almost killed Doctor Strange. It was beautiful. Like, there's a difference between let me do my gestures, and Ebony Maw was like, get that shit out of
He
here.
was the best character, and he was so underused.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. I guess I can sort of agree that he was underused, but the reason why I say he wasn't is because he almost killed Strange. He almost killed him, and he was torturing him. So
almost only counts in hand grenades and horseshoes.
yeah, I know that is definite. I know that is definitely a common human sentiment, but I still cannot discount the effectiveness that his character had in a very short time span. There's nothing like showing up, fucking some shit up, almost taking out a character, and then you get taken out.
And then he got froze to death outer space like Princess Leia.
Well, yeah, he shouldn't have died like that. That was lackluster. In fact, all of Thanos's minions, like whether it be Proxima, Midnight, Cole Obsidian, the whole lot of them, shit shouldn't have been happening. Cap showing up with his beard, catching the stab, that shit should have never. A lot of that shit shouldn't have happened, but it did. So all I'm saying is that with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I am looking forward to the possibilities, the doors that it can open. I just don't want it to be a sloppy fest, and then people are focused on, oh, look at him, look at her. I'm like, where's the story? Oh, look at him, look at her. I don't want that shit. Tell a good story, do something that helps evolve the character and show intensity, and whatever main bad guy you use, I don't want to see them get wiped out in 2 seconds. None of that shit.
Good deal. Next topic will be Loki.
Well, can I go first? I promise I'll be super fast.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Fuck Loki. Next.
Damn. I'm looking forward to Loki. I want to see.
Dude, I am fucking tired of Loki. That's all we got for fucking 3 phases. Loki this and Loki that. Fuck Loki.
Loki makes stuff in. I'm curious to see what he's gonna do on his other time.
Only because Tom Hiddleston makes all these girls fucking wet, dude. That's the only reason why he's getting his own fucking show. We got to make a show for the moms.
I don't have that issue. I'm just
thirsty ass bitches. That's why Aquaman made $1 billion. Damn,
it's like you got haterade in that cup, bro. What's up?
Fucking damn right. What does that say? Take out the power, put the hate. Put the
hate. All right, Perp, what you feel about Loki?
Damn, like Rob kind of said what I was going to say, but I wasn't going to be that harsh about it. I just, my thing is like, who really cares about this? This is an alternate Loki, even though it's going to be, I think it's just going to be a fun series overall. It's just, I just don't see how this ties into everything. Is Loki going to make his grand appearance back into the regular timeline? I don't know. He's probably going to turn into a female. I don't know.
Retcon a lot of stuff. If I don't know how they're gonna do it, but we'll see.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's on it.
yeah, I'm sorry. You finished?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's I'm
it got
not
a,
that hyped about it. So
I got you. It got the potential to retcon a lot of stuff. I hope it doesn't, but we shall see. Go ahead, Jason. What you think?
Oh, like for me, it's like meh. You know what I mean? Like they said, it's in a different timeline. Um,
Say it, Jason. Say fuck Loki.
fuck Loki for real though. But I'm just saying, no, like I think it's a way to maybe get Loki back into the regular timeline with what they're doing with Doctor Strange and all that, because they killed Loki, right? And he was popular in the Thor movies. So I really think that it's just a way to get him back into the universe. I'll
I,
watch it again. I'll watch everything Marvel, but I'm not so excited about it either.
I do want to throw something in there because this is interesting. Because this is a different Loki. This is like still prime evil Loki and not like good guy Loki. So that
Mhm.
Yeah.
could be a good thing.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Terrence, what you think about Loki, bro?
Um, Loki as a character, I like him. He's interesting, and I think the show will be interesting. A lot of humans seem to be forgetting the idea that the Avengers and Endgame did a lot of stupid shit. Professor Hulk is a fucking idiot. Like all that shit they were doing in the timeline, and then when Loki escaped with the fucking Infinity Stone, I'm like, so Loki escaped with the Tesseract. Like that alone
They didn't
is
even
gonna
go
make me
after him.
watch. They didn't. They was like, oh damn, Loki escaped. Oh, gotta deal with Thanos, no problem. And then Cap fighting himself from the past, talking about Hail Hydra. I'm like, you motherfucker, that's a comic book. That's bad. But yeah, like, oh my god, my hair was gonna explode during that movie. So Loki escaping with the Tesseract, who knows what he did and who he talked to. There's so much there's so many questions I have because I can't depend on the Avengers anymore to make sense because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. But Loki though, he's a villain and he's gonna make sense because he has to, because he has his goals and they're always very clear goals when he showcases that to the audience. So Tom Hiddleston has done a great job as the character, so I feel like there will be a fun factor to the show. You know, it will answer questions. It can possibly open up some doors to the multiverse and shit. Like there's
We had like 4
possibilities
other
there.
movies on this list that does the same thing.
Mhm.
It I understand that, but I'm just saying like Loki himself can come with surprises because that's the nature of the character. It could
Yeah.
be
The bitch
one
don't stay
episode.
dead though. Fucking Christ.
No, he technically he's dead, but this is a different one.
I
So
know, but
it
damn.
yeah,
Fucking cop out.
Robert, trust me, I know Marvel. It when it comes to the, I gotta say this, when it comes to the multiverse stuff, DC does it better. I don't care, DC does it better. They're gonna have to come correct to get me to go, oh shit, because if they don't, again, it's gonna be what I call a collection of moments, which will be very surfacey. I don't want that. So Loki, I'm I'm curious, and there is an excitement to see what his series entails.
Yeah. I think Loki gonna pop up probably in Thor, Love and Thunder, and possibly Doctor Strange too, just to make it interesting.
Daddy,
Uh,
you know what I'm picturing? I want to see Thor's face when he sees Loki, because Thor always
uh-huh.
has those dialogues where he's like, "Brother, I believed you dead," and then you're gonna grab him on the shoulder. Loki gonna have that smile like, "Yeah, you dumb as fuck, Thor. Man, what were
Mm-hmm.
you thinking? Like, you didn't even come after me. You're a terrible hero."
Well, um, next topic. I'm going to go first on What If because this is my most anticipated because that was my favorite comic book growing up. The What If comic books. Like I have one here now. What if Wolverine was the king, the Lord of the Vampires? This show right here, in my opinion, has so much potential because anything that we want to be like, damn, I wonder how this would be if this, and this happened. Marvel has the opportunity to listen to the fans and come up with several stories that would show us how what would happen if maybe Hawkeye went sacrifice himself instead of Black Widow, or what if somebody else did the snap instead of Professor Hulk, or what if Iron Man had time enough to develop a suit that could handle the power of the Infinity Stones? All that kind of stuff runs through my mind, and I think it's interesting. I think if this show right here can showcase that, it'd be something I would definitely want to watch. So I'm going to go with Terrence. What do you think about What If?
Like you said, I think it's interesting in the sense that they could do a lot of the opposite of what we've seen, which I think to a large degree that's going to be what they do is the opposite of what we have seen. Plus, some little extra nitbits in there that maybe someone like me, where I'm sitting there with my notepad, like, damn, I didn't came up with 50 ideas, and then they're like, surprise, bitch, you didn't think of this. Like, there'll be some of that in there. So I'm I'm intrigued a lot. I think that each episode can have something where I'm like, that was amazing. And then by the time you get through all of it, I'm gonna say it's end up being a good show. Um, I hope it's not too on the nose to where everything is predictable. They need to have some surprise elements in there. I think the surprise elements will determine how good the show is versus it being just pure fan service. Fan service is great, but once you get past that, you will need some form of substance. So I think What If, out of the shows we just mentioned, has the biggest potential for substance.
I agree. Perk, what do you think?
Um, I like to call the show "What If Marvel Held This L," because this is pretty much what it is. Because I was excited for this, like a What If series, but like that animation style is trash. That 3D animation, I could no,
So you don't
uh,
like the Rebels style of animation? That's 3D.
no. No, I don't like none of that. I don't like 3D animation. I would have more preferred like the 2D animation, maybe 2.5, kind of, like have hints of 3D there, but like I was just completely thrown off in the direction of the animation style. So it's just like I'm not even interested anymore. So, I don't
Okay.
I'm not that interested. Like I am interested to see like what stories they do, like or what ifs, and if it comes down to like a story like that looks interesting, I might check it out, but I'm not excited for it anymore, just based off the animation.
Good. All right, Jason, what do you think?
I'm absolutely excited. I'm like you. This was one of my favorite comics growing up. I love the What If comics. And from what I hear, is there's going to be 22 episodes, and each episode is going to represent something that they changed from a movie.
Oh,
So you're going to get the first Iron Man. There's going to have a What If for the first Iron Man, the second one, the third, and they're going to do that for all 22 movies. So I'm definitely excited.
if they do that, that would be nice. All right, Robert, what do you think, sir?
Well, unless they're gonna do What If Spider-Man: Homecoming was actually good, I really don't care. Um,
Yeah.
so maybe there's hope. Maybe there's hope. Maybe maybe what if Uncle Ben actually existed? Something, or maybe what if Spider-Man
they're
wasn't
gonna do
Iron
that,
Man?
Robert. You know that's gonna happen.
One can hope. Look, I don't want to rain on anybody's parade. I know Danny and Jason's really looking forward to this. Look, could this show be absolutely good? Yeah, sure, could absolutely be good. The problem is it has no significance to anything on this list. Nothing they do in here affects anything because it's all what if, it's all speculation. So whatever happens in the show has no consequence to anything else on the list. So just by that nature alone, it's completely just thrown out the window. It's not. It's watched just for fun, just like the comic books were just for fun. This shouldn't even have the MC. It shouldn't even be attached to the MCU because it has no bearing on the MCU. I'm kind of interested in the Marvel Zombie thing that we kind of got rumored. I heard we might be getting Marvel Zombie. I'm kind of interested in that because I like the Marvel Zombie comic books. But unless they can make the Spider-Man movies watchable, then I'll watch those episodes. To be honest with you, I wasn't planning on watching any of this. One, I'm not like Perp. I'm not a fan of the animation. I think I can take a shit and have a better animated. The stories, like I said, oh, we got a female Captain America. Whoop-de-doo. What does it all mean, Basil? That's great. Does it affect anything in the MCU? Absolutely not. So I don't look. I don't want to be a haterade, but What If and Loki are the two things I really care less about. At least with Loki, it will have some, like, regardless of how I feel about Loki constantly coming back and back and back, at least it will have effects on the MCU somehow. This has absolutely no effect. This is the one thing I can absolutely skip and know it's not going to affect anything else. So with that said, I'm going to drink my grape haterade and go to the next person.
That's not haterade, Robert. When you give valid points, it's not haterade. Okay, like that's not how that works. I know humans like to throw that out there like that, but no.
And also, it would have been better if they would have just took a page out of DC's book with like the animation. Like, why couldn't you just get that type of animation for your what ifs?
I hear you on that part, but they will never come close to DC's animation. Not going to happen.
I don't have a problem with
they got the
animation.
money. They got the money, so
I don't have no problem.
Money is not talent.
I don't
Right,
have problem.
right.
I don't have the problem with the 3D animation.
Me neither.
I watch Rebels. I watch Clones. It looked good to me. So I mean, it is what it. I guess it's just whatever particular flavor the individual watcher likes. But
yeah, I've been spoiled by anime, so you know that's that.
And to Rob's point.
Oh no, not people usually don't say have a point. So go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say to your point with the zombie one. I believe they will have that one because I remember seeing the clip for it.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's the Captain America one.
Yeah.
I heard they were going to do that first before they changed it to Civil War out of fear because of Batman v Superman. Just throwing that out there.
Okay. Next topic is Hawkeye. I can be really fast on this. I could care less.
Oh my God, you're killing me.
He should have died.
You're killing me worse than the flu almost killed me.
Okay. Tag, you're it. Go, Robert.
Oh man, this is clearly, other than the Falcon Winter Soldier. Okay, this is clearly like one of the ones I'm looking forward to the most. I mean, where do you want me to start? One, I think Hawkeye is one of the most underused characters that we have seen. Like, we barely get anything with Hawkeye in it. And the fact that we're getting Kate fucking Bishop, right? We're getting fucking Haley Steinfeld, rumored Haley Steinfeld, someone who I absolutely love. I think she's a great actress. I think she's sexy as all hell. And have her play Kate Bishop and have Hawkeye Jeremy Renner be able to train her and get a new Hawkeye to carry over. And not only that, the best thing about Age of Ultron, which wasn't a whole lot, but one of the best things about Age of Ultron was the relationship Hawkeye had with Scarlet Witch. If we can get that relationship that carried over, because the Wanda Hawkeye relationship went through Age of Ultron, Civil War, and Avengers Endgame. Like, he was there for her. Like, one of the most touching scenes at Endgame was those two by the lake. If we can get that type of connection between Kate Bishop and Hawkeye, this is something that's going to set up the next phase of movies, the next character, in ways that a lot of these other movies can't. Falcon Winter Soldier is definitely one of those, because we're getting the evolution of the next Cap. We are getting the evolution of the next Hawkeye. So there's a lot of stuff that can play on this. Like you look at Loki, you look at What If, those are they really don't do too much for the landscape. This is the evolution of character building the next level of characters to take that mantle, and it's going to be done in a way that doesn't feel rushed. And I don't know. I'm just super excited for it, man. Maybe I'm just a geek. I don't know.
Okay, well, you can show right to your opinion, bro. Jason, what do you think, sir?
About Hawkeye?
Yes.
Not interested.
Oh my God.
I'm not interested. I could care less. That one I said I could care less about.
That's true.
You're going down a path I can't follow.
I know.
Let's see, Pert, what you think about Hawkeye, bro?
If Norman Reedus was Hawkeye, I would care more.
What? Off of Walking Dead?
Yes.
Man, Daryl would kill Hawkeye, but continue.
That's my exact point. But nah, it's another one I just don't really care for. But I'll definitely check it out just because Hawkeye is cool, I guess.
Okay. All right, Terrence, what you think, sir?
Hawkeye, man, Jeremy Renner, I definitely like him as an actor, and when they cast him as Hawkeye. I was like, okay, so that's pretty good. And watched the MCU, and I remember when he was in Thor 1, and he was like, "Should I take the shot, sir?" And Coulson was like, "No, I want to see if he could pick up the hammer." I'm like, "Damn, I can't wait to see more Hawkeye." The Avengers come around, and then he's like, "Yeah, the Hawk is up in his nest," and he slides down. It was like everything he did, like, got me to kind of scoot on the edge of my seat, and they just didn't really utilize him. Even when they gave us Ronin version of Hawkeye, I was like, cool. I was cheering my ass off. I'm like, yeah, fuck their shit up. I was happy. And then they don't really do anything with him. So
Well, let
I
me ask you
found
a
it
question.
interesting. Wait, go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. And correct me if I'm wrong. It seems like in the comic book, and before I actually saw them on the big screen, that Hawkeye was more popular and was supposed to be the better character, archer, fighter, that kind of stuff, versus Green Arrow. But after seeing Green Arrow, Oliver Queen would kick
Not
Hawkeye's ass.
Hold on.
definitely not true. Not true at all.
After you
Green,
get done with this point, I want to go back to something Perp said, but you guys finish your point.
Oh yeah, no. Green Arrow is a way more popular than Hawkeye is in every way, because he started as a copy of Batman, but he has grown in popularity over these last couple of decades. I mean, he has some very interesting arcs with Speedy and Arsenal,
You didn't
and
hear
then
the
you
question. What I said when I was growing up, I'm the oldest person on the panel, bro.
He's talking about in the 40s.
yeah. No. I got you. Hawkeye has his popularity, but definitely not more than Green Arrow.
Okay. I always thought
Um,
Green Arrow was kind of pansy looking with that damn Robin Hood shit on in the comic books.
Well, yeah, that's
But
because he started off as a joke character. That's the beginning of the character. Like, when you get into the evolution of the character, there's no comparison between Green Arrow storylines and fucking Hawkeye storylines with Green
okay.
Arrow in his prime. Just wanted to throw that out there. But
Okay.
again, though, I like Hawkeye. Hawkeye is awesome. Like, he's Avengers. I love Hawkeye, which brings me to continue my point. Like, Hawkeye is a very underused character. I'm like, why you doing Hawkeye like this? He's not one of the many characters that should be there. Like in Phase 1, I was like, where the fuck is Black Panther? Why is he not here? Vibranium? None of that matters. Whatever. But you got Hawkeye that's there. You didn't have Ant-Man, Hank Pym. There was a lot of characters that I was pissed that they weren't there. And Hawkeye was one that was there, and then they didn't really use him. He kind of, even though he was an Avenger, it felt odd to me because it seemed like he might as well be the civilian on the street drinking coffee. Like, he just doesn't really matter in the way that he should. So in terms of his show, I'm like, cool, this is something where you can focus on him. You don't have to be eclipsed by the rest of the Avengers team. Everybody like, yeah, Black Widow, Hulk. They're like, hey, you excited to see Hawkeye? They're like, the dude with the arrows? Like, they like, hell no, I don't care about him. Me, I'm just sitting there I got my Hawkeye t-shirt on. I'm like, well, fuck you too, man. Hawkeye is cool. Like, so yeah, I'm excited, like what Robert said, with the daughter and the training. And that was a heartbreaking scene in Endgame, by the way, when he was with his daughter and shit, and then they all turned to dust. I was like,
Yeah, that was kind of tight.
so that's how you're gonna start the movie. So you don't utilize my boy, but then you murder his family. I see how it is, Kevin Feige.
Did you cry during that scene?
I didn't cry, but I almost strangled the person next to me.
Tyrone and Terrence and crying is an oxymoron.
But
know that.
Jeremy Renner did make me cry twice in Endgame. So I kind of want to I had to go take a piss when Perp was talking. I got a bone to pick with him. He said he would care if, what was that other idiot? Yeah, Norman Reedus. So you want Norman Reedus. You rather have Norman Reedus than a guy who was nominated for an Oscar in Jeremy Renner. And if Norman Reedus was Hawkeye, the show would last 12 years and he would be the only character left alive. And he's not even in the comic books.
He's the best character.
Hey, Robert,
he's not the best character.
Hey, Robert, I cannot speak on the Walking Dead comics, Robert, because I haven't read them, but I'll tell you this. In the context of the Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, all the little shorts that they made, Daryl is one of my favorites. And it's like, if Norman Reedus I don't think he's not a better actor than Jeremy Renner, not even close. But given what they've given me from Hawkeye in the MCU and what they've given me with the Daryl character in the Walking Dead universe, I do prefer Daryl, even though
So you would want Norman Reedus to go, "Hey, Kate, got some squirrel for you."
no, like you know what, Robert, that does sound funny. Like I feel like the scene where I could picture Norman Reedus going up against the T'Chari, and he just has some squirrels hanging. That'd be the most epic thing. I'm like, my boy is feasting and
Now
killing.
you take that, and I'm going to give you 3 scenes, 3 of my favorite Hawkeye scenes, and I want you to try to replace Jeremy Renner with Norman Reedus and see if they even play it closely the same.
Okay,
Age of Ultron, where he's telling Scarlet Witch, he's like, I know it's scary out here, blah, blah, blah. I'll go get your brother. But if you step out that door, you're an Avenger. That would not play the same with Norman Reedus.
Okay, wait. Let me tackle that one first before. So with what you said, I 100% agree. Like Jeremy Renner's, you can, like, for me personally, I've seen so many movies and stuff. Like I'm very good at picking up a person's body language, how the tone of their voice, the whole entire acting skill set. So Jeremy Renner can deliver those lines in a way that Norman Reedus can't. That is very true. If you would have put Norman Reedus there and he would have said that, it wouldn't have had the same level of impact, because Norman Reedus can play the Daryl character, but he's not a very good actor. He's good with certain things. Jeremy Renner, he can play whatever the fuck you give him, in my opinion. Next.
Yeah. Just like in Age of Ultron, or not Age of Ultron, but Endgame, when he's talking to Thor and he's like, well, you tell him that. You go grab your fucking hammer and you go and you tell him that. Like there's a difference between an Oscar-nominated actor and a guy who does an AMC TV show. I'm just saying. And let's be honest, neither of them are doing their own stunts.
Right.
But Jeremy Renner's not out here pulling out rocket launchers and blowing people up. Just saying.
Either is Norman Reedus. That's his fucking stunt double.
Man, you see Jeremy Renner on The Bourne Identity?
Scene was hard. I hate that one. The Bourne Legacy, trash.
The last time I checked, I don't see Norman Reedus going to get the fucking Soul Stone either. So that can go both ways.
But Danny, to your point, I like Jeremy Renner, his character, but I did not like the movie at all.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not a fan of the movie, but I'm just saying he was badass in that movie.
He was.
All y'all doing my man Hawkeye dirty, except for maybe Terrence. Terrence is giving him a little bit of credit.
Yeah, no. Hey, Robert, you heard me. I want to see the Hawkeye show. My boy has been done dirty. He's been showing up. They murdered his family. Kevin Feige. I feel like Jeremy Renner at these little Comic-Con conventions, they'd be like, okay, come out, Loki, Scarlet Witch. They introducing all the characters. Jeremy Renner's like, Kevin, man, you think I'm gonna get a solo movie or something? He's like, hell no, sit your
and also,
I can see him running, looking at the Scarlet Witch as he's about to jump off the ledge, and she down trips his ass up, and he looks up.
And another thing, Jeremy Renner and Hawkeye is the only guy that has balls enough in an interview to call Black Widow a slut. That's been documented.
Right. Right. Yeah. Hey, Black Widow. So it don't matter. She could be anything she wants. I will be there.
I'm gonna watch Hawkeye. I'm gonna watch them all. But if I'm excited about it, not really.
And to your point, Robert. To your point, if right now the door gets kicked in and Black Widow is here to murder me, I will get on my hands and knees for her. Like that's definitely.
Well, of course, I would too.
Like, you kill me any way you want to kill me. I'm open. Bring me back to life and do it all over again.
What on that now? What all that? Next topic: Thor, Love and Thunder.
Can I speak on this one?
Go, Perp. You first. Go.
I'll say Christian Bale saved this movie. Straight up, because if he wasn't cast in this movie, nobody would give a damn.
We don't even know who he's playing yet. He could play like a trash machine.
Still, people are going to go see it just because Christian Bale said it. They don't care nothing else.
Does people really go see it just because Christian Bale's in it though?
Yeah,
does Christian Bale really have that much of a following?
Ford versus Ferrari. Ford v Ferrari. Watch
dude, I love Christian Bale. I go see every movie. I saw fucking Vice just because of Christian Bale. But,
exactly. That's my point.
But then you know what's up then.
Yeah, but people aren't going to go see an MCU movie just because Christian Bale. And I heard that guy who played Bruce Wayne is going to be in that movie.
Okay, maybe not the character. Picture that conversation though. Picture the conversation like, yo, Batman gonna be in it. Oh shit, they already
Yeah,
driving to
but
the
what
scene.
happens if they make him CGI? Then that makes it irrelevant. Then
Nah,
But if
I
you
don't
got
think
his
so.
voice though, like I don't think he's gonna be a CGI character. But let's just say
Uh-uh.
that he is. They're gonna use his voice. It's just the fact that Batman is in a Marvel movie. That's how the average person is gonna look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Because that movie had no hype like prior to that. Nobody like out of this whole slate that they announced, everybody was majority of the people said, "Oh no, fuck this movie." But then as
Really?
soon as
I don't know who you guys be hanging around with. I mean, you all like what ifs and shit, but you're saying Thor: Love and Thunder, no one talking about. It's like you have
Uh-oh.
fucking female Thor, you have female Thor, Natalie Portman coming back, Taika Waititi, who made probably the best Thor movie, coming back. You know, like
Most people I talk to is not a fan of the female Thor. They do not
and
like.
who remembers
y'all
and
must
who
be afraid of
remembers
some
Okay,
pussy.
wait.
Then
Whose turn? Okay, like I'm gonna wait because I gotta go into this. But who was going? Because
I think Robert wanted to go first on Thor.
no, I'm
Thor.
just gonna kind of. I'm gonna sit here. I'll go.
Okay.
I just wanted to chime in with that, like, cause like I don't see any hype for this. Like, where was Natalie Portman's character all this time, and now you want to show her off like she's been gone for how many years? I don't see how this would work.
That's because she was pissed behind the scenes, man.
Yeah. A lot of people didn't think like Josh Brolin could pull off Thanos, but I mean, I could hear his voice, I could see some of his features. So the same way they did Thanos, they could do Gore the God Butcher if that's what they're gonna do. And I think
those
Christopher
humans are
Bale
silly,
would knock it off. Say it again.
no, I said those humans are silly for doubting Josh Brolin's acting. That's ridiculous.
Mhm.
He played a young
Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones for fuck's sakes.
I think when I first heard of this movie, I was like, this sounds like The Notebook in space. Like,
No, I don't see how, because she's gonna have to bulk up.
Okay, other than Terrence, has anybody read the female Thor comic books? Other than Terrence, I'm pretty sure Terrence has, but has anybody
have.
else?
I have it.
Mm-mm.
So do you
No.
know the concept of female Thor and how powerful that story actually is?
From what
Probably
I've
not.
heard, I don't know how true it is that basically she has cancer and the hammer keeps her
Yes.
alive.
Yeah, no, she has cancer, but using the power kills her more. Yes, she still does it. And Thor is unworthy. There's so many different storylines they can go with this. It isn't just because it's called Love and Thunder doesn't mean they're just gonna be fucking on a beach with a hammer going, yeah.
No, we don't. I don't think it's that. I'm just saying that. I'm not saying that I'm not ready to see it. I'm just saying that I don't know how it's going to be. I mean, I just don't know.
It's definitely gonna be a rom-com. I'm calling it right now.
And you see, I'm not interested in it because you guys already know, like I said yesterday, I wasn't a big fan of Ragnarok. So same guy, I think it's gonna be way too jokey, and I'm like,
That's a fair
not
place,
really
son.
interested.
At least you're not saying it's because of
You
pussy.
know?
Oh, no, I'm not saying because
No,
of
never. I would never say that. Pussy's gonna bring me to watch it.
You'd be surprised, man.
hold on.
Captain Marvel, they got pussy on the screen now.
Oh,
Marvel
okay.
paid for tickets. Like that makes a lot of sense.
All right. So who's next? So we have Perp Danny, and who you want to do?
Go, Terrence. You chomping at the bit. Go.
All right. All right. So, here's
Okay.
the thing.
Now, just remind you, it's 2 hours and 42 minutes. I am stopping at 3 hours. Okay. So
We got to get the blade. That's like the most important one.
Just to let you know. Anyway, I'm gonna continue. So, Thor: Love and Thunder. I heard it. I was like, oh, okay. Thor movie. I compared to everything else, not as excited, but there could be something in there. I think the whole Beta Ray Bill thing and Christian Bale. I'm like, all right, let's see what they do with that. But at the same time, I was like, well, man, Terrence, before you get too excited, like Beta Ray Bill and Gore the God Butcher or whoever else they use may take a back seat to female Thor with cancer. Like, they gonna push that because Kevin Feige's like, yeah, female Thor, yeah, diversity. I'm like, Kevin, nobody cares about female Thor, man. Them comic books are whack. Like, out of all the things you could have did, so you made fun of Thor. He was all fat and shit in Endgame. Instead of doing like a really deep Thor movie, because I love Thor Ragnarok. That movie is awesome. However, I read that storyline, all that shit, the ones who sit above in shadow and Thor killing them because he thought they were evil. That should have been a very serious, super dark storyline, and they went the comical route. But look, I like Natalie Portman, but she gonna have to bulk up because when she was holding up Mjolnir on that stage, I'm like, man, her arm is about to snap something off. She about
That's
to
what I said. She gotta bulk up. She ain't gonna look right muscular.
like, yeah, she like I if I were in charge, about look, Natalie, put on like 10 or 15 pounds, you'll fill out, you'll look like all the other females, and that way it's convincing. When you pick up the hammer, you're supposed to be powerful. You're trying to convince the audience that you're getting over your cancer, even though that shit is kind of slowly killing you anyway with the power and stuff too, kind of making it worse. But at the same time, if you're supposed to be stronger and you look like a toothpick, it don't really work the same way. I mean, it don't. So I'm very curious, but I have a feeling that I probably won't like it as much as the other Thor movies. But of course, I'm gonna give it a chance because if they make female Thor badass, I do like badass women. So there's that. You know, my eyes are kind of open for that, but I still want a good story. You better not Captain Marvel that shit.
No way possible it could be worse than Thor 2. No way possible.
I don't think so either, Danny. I hope not because Malekith's coming up talking about like, yeah, Thor, you gonna bow down to me, and then you get beat up by the dude's mother, man. Nothing is worse than that.
Go
You
ahead,
guys bringing up Thor 2? I ain't saying shit.
Go ahead,
Man,
Robert.
Man, how are your henchmen better than you? Like, go ahead, Robert. Like,
Well, nothing can be worse than Thor 2 except for, the Spider-Man movies. But
okay.
dude, them Spider-Man, don't even give me fucked. That's not even Spider-Man.
Man, shit, I'm gonna get sick.
But I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. You know how Marvel likes to change little things from the comic books, and instead of making Hank Pym create Ultron, they made Tony Stark create Ultron because it made more sense. You know what it would have made more sense? Instead of bringing Natalie Portman back, like I know Jane Foster's Lady Thor in the comics. Instead of bringing Natalie Portman back, they should have made Lady Sif fucking Lady Thor.
Exactly. Excellent point.
Thank you.
Or either Valkyrie.
Either or.
No, Valkyrie is already the king of Asgard for some.
But it would have made more
reason.
sense for Lady Sif in the comics or in the movies, especially since she was missing in the third film. She could come back, be worthy. It would make more sense for the movie universe, especially since they did the whole joke of who broke up with who in Thor Ragnarok. To bring Natalie Portman back just doesn't make sense. I think Lady Sif could do that. But other than that, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't have to bulk up so much. Yep. Natalie Portman better be eating some McDonald's, man.
No, that is the worst thing she could do.
What the fuck, dog? This McDonald's diet right here.
No, it is, and that's cool. But I'm just saying, like, look, for her, she gonna need to have that protein and that energy because she gonna be picking up Mjolnir. She fucking have a McDonald's diet. She gonna get tired after one take. That shit is not good.
So, Perp, what you think, Perp?
Yeah, no, because of Christian Bale. That's the only reason I'm going to see this.
I got you. Jason, did you already say anything?
Yeah, I said I did, but I said because I didn't really like Thor Ragnarok, so I'm okay. Put Beta Ray Bill in it. Show me a trailer with Beta Ray Bill, and you got me.
I got you.
Show me a scene where you got Beta Ray Bill and Thor doing a team up attack. That alone gets the ticket automatically. I don't care about everything else.
I agree, 1,000. Last topic is Blade, and I'm reminding everybody, 2 hours and 47 minutes. I only give 180 minutes is what I pledge to give people.
I thought we were doing 10 hours today. I thought we were doing 10 hours today.
Nah, hell no. I ain't doing no damn 10 hours. Blade, Perp, go.
I just hope it's good and bloody, but it's not because it's behind Disney. That's all I got.
So, do you think Disney may make it rated R?
No.
Okay. Robert, what you think?
PG-13.
I'm anticipating this. I'm gonna try to keep this short, so I'm just gonna kind of have a checklist of what I want to see. One, I don't think it has to be rated R. People are like, it's got to be rated R. It doesn't. Nothing has to be rated R in life, unless it's a fucking Jason movie or some shit. I would like to see it done John Wick style. I would like it to tie into Morbius, and I just want the Blade character to kick ass. So keep it John Wickish. Keep it. I would like to tie it into Morbius if you could, and Just make it kick ass. I don't care if I don't need to see blood everywhere or anything. It doesn't have to be rated R. Just like Deadpool doesn't have to be rated. Yes, guys, Deadpool does not have to be rated R. The fucking comic books aren't rated R. You just all fucking spoiled. That's all. So good day.
Fuck all that shit. But continue.
Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, I'm excited for Blade. You know, to me, Blade was the one that started off all this superhero movie stuff. You do it right. I like the actor they got to play Blade, Mahershala or whatever. I can't say his name. I like him.
Man.
Mahershala.
Come on, you can't let a white guy outshow you.
It's okay, man. It's okay. I have a problem with pronouncing names sometimes.
Me too.
So.
Have you watched my videos?
Yes, I have. But I actually think it's gonna be good. I'm excited for it 100%.
Good deal. I am too. I think Mahershala Ali is going to kill the Blade part. I hope he is in the gym or somewhere actively learning as many styles as he can
McDonald's
learn.
diet.
Not for that, but just learning how to fight and look realistically when he's fighting. Because Wesley Snipes has spoiled us as Blade. He is totally awesome. I could always remember that fight scene, him in the club or in the underground club, and the blood is coming out the sprinkler system, and he stopped, and everybody's like, Daywalker, Daywalker. I'll always remember that. And then when he's running with the what's the blood pack, and how he
there were some fucking assholes in number 2.
Yeah, how he put that damn bomb in the back of that sucker head so fast. That shit was tight.
Yeah, this is why I think Blade has to be rated R.
Yeah,
see shit like this.
Then how the guy had the gun pointed at him, and then he didn't know that he had the gun pointed at him too. They was just the shit. So I hope Wesley Snipes is in there to kind of pass the torch on to Mahershala Ali. He has the look, but I hope that they use different special effects to make his feet look more cooler, maybe slow motion style, or whatever, the Matrix style, whatever you call that style of CGI and special effects. I want them to really put the money into his Blade special effects and make it look cool. All right, Terrence, 9 minutes, bro. It's on you.
All right, so Blade. Blade is one of those characters where I feel that it should be rated R. Blade, Deadpool, certain comic book stories will benefit from having the R rating. When you don't have that, you're stifled in terms of your creativity, because every time you try to do something, when it's PG-13, what do you have to do? Oh man, we can't do too much of that because they're gonna dock us. Like, that's bullshit, you know. So Blade is a very violent fucking character, and you should be thinking about making it rated R. But since we know that they're not, what you can do is, it's an MCU movie, right? So I'm pretty sure it's still going to be good. Again, we had this conversation earlier. We're not going to be surprised when an MCU movie is good. It's never going to happen, including Blade. So Blade is going to be good, but what they should do, since they're going to stick to the PG-13 rating because they often don't have the balls to do anything else, what they should do is you push the limits of the PG-13, because you can get away with a lot of violence in PG-13. So what you should do is, number one, no fucking silly ass jokes. None of that shit. Like, you can have a couple of scenes, but I swear to God, if this shit is like Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm going to be mad as fuck. None of that shit. Like, people need to take Blade seriously. In order to do that, you have to place him in a serious environment. The villain needs to be serious. You need to feel for his character. His character has a fucked up origin story. He wasn't even born yet, and his mother got attacked by fucking Deacon Frost. That was some savage ass shit. He didn't have a choice in the matter. He coming out on the worst planet in the universe called Earth, and he got to deal with that shit. So this time around, they should do Jamal Afari, which is the jazz musician that trains him and teaches him everything that he knows. You know, you can do that. You can have Wesley Snipes be Jamal Afari. That'd be the coolest shit. Like, Wesley Snipes is training a new Blade. Who the fuck would have a problem with that? That'd be like the best case scenario. Or even if they decide to, go with Whistler again, that's fine. But I would prefer Jamal Afari. And Kevin Feige likes to do things differently, especially if he's seen that other people have tackled that character. So Jamal Afari would make the more sense over Whistler. If not, I can see Wesley Snipes being the bad guy of the movie. So imagine that. You get the kind of new Blade versus old Blade kind of thing. That would be kind of poetic in its approach. That'd be pretty sick. Um, the fight scenes. Now, Mahershala Ali, in terms of him bulking up, is Hollywood. That should never be any sort of concern that somebody has to get bigger or smaller. They know what to do. They know what to do. That's fine. Um, in terms of the fight choreography, from what I've seen from the MCU, if you can make Scarlett Johansson look like she can fucking fight, then there should be no concerns about anybody. They can get anybody to do that shit. Especially if they're talented, like Mahershala Ali. He's very disciplined. He's very dedicated. He will bring 210% to the role. He stated that he loves and respects Wesley Snipes, so he ain't gonna be on no silly shit. He knows. I'm gonna do right by Snipes. I'm gonna do right by the fans, and you need to make sure that this whole John Wick style or that style. To me, that is sort of a mistake. You do not want people to go, this is Blade, but it's John Wick 4. Like, none of that shit. You want it to have its own identity. You can very much get the people that did the fight choreography for John Wick, but you don't want him to move like John Wick. Blade is supernatural. John Wick is a fucking human. He still moves like a human. Blade has to move in a fantastical sense. Using slow motion, that's okay, but don't make the mistake of doing it too much because the audience, like another problem, like with Daredevil 1, for example, right? Too many
Exactly.
fight scenes where you couldn't see it. If you're going to do nighttime sequences, you still need to make sure that the audience can see what Mahershala Ali is doing because then
Exactly.
it's believable and they won't be taken out of the scenes by some trash ass fight scenes. Like, I'm a martial artist, so I can pick up on that shit easily than maybe some people can't that don't have that experience. So I'm like, yo, this is fucking shitty. What kind of kick and punch was that? That's horrible. Like, I don't want none of that. I want people to go, damn, Mahershala Ali, like, he went through a transformation. That's
Yeah,
what
his
you need, a
double
transformation.
did a lot.
Right, right. Well, here's the thing though, like, again, for the sake of the movie, you they're always gonna have stunt doubles. Most actors have
Oh,
stunt doubles,
shit.
but he still has to be able to do some of it because they're obviously gonna have close shots. So he still needs to get his training
Yeah, I'm
down.
pretty sure Mahershala Ali can do this. I mean, he did win 2 Oscars. I'm pretty sure he can handle.
Well, again, he's gonna have to do his training because even
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson and the rest of them, they can do some of those moves as I've seen
I just
behind the
want.
scenes.
I don't want to interrupt too much, but you're being very disrespectful to Miss Scarlett Johansson. Let's not forget she was also in Ghost in the Shell, Lucy, and she's been doing like martial arts stuff ever since like Iron Man 2. So you make it sound like she's a scrub.
No. You're misunderstanding me. I'm saying that she came in not as a martial artist in the same way as Mahershala Ali. Scarlett Johansson is not a martial artist. She's someone that got trained for projects. Wesley Snipes is someone that knows 6 different forms of fighting. He
And he
comes
can't
in,
pay his taxes.
yeah, that was dumb. But Wesley Snipes is different because he can and did do that. These other actors, I don't care if it's Scarlett or Mahershala Ali, they have to be trained. You have to be able to do some of what your stunt double is doing. They're gonna have those close-up shots. You have to do it. So what I'm saying is, Mahershala Ali, I believe he's gonna take it seriously and he's gonna be sure that he is convincing on the screen. He's gonna try to do as much as humanly possible. So aside from that, I want the villain to be really good. Again, I don't want it to be Blade Trinity with all that silly ass shit in the movie. None of that. I want the ending fight scene. I feel is just as important as how the movie starts, because when your movie starts, you want to leave a good impression, and when people walk away from the movie, you want them to leave on a good note. So I hope that ending is really epic and maybe even do some Morbius stuff and maybe have Blade team up with some people or set some stuff like that up. But I really hope that they do something good. It can never be better than Blade 1 and 2, but what you can get is a good movie if they approach it the right way. I think the creative process will make all the difference in terms of how the Blade movie turns out. But you want to stray away from your typical MCU stuff for Blade. If you want to make an exception, Blade is the movie to do it.
All right. This is a good place to stop and wrap up. I'm going to ask one quick question, 30 seconds. or I will kick you off the channel if you go longer than 30 seconds.
Can I have like 5 minutes?
No, 30 seconds. Do you think Disney should have a rated R section and a PG section? Go, Robert.
No, because they already make $1 billion movies.
All right, Jason.
It's exactly what I said. Why change it if they're still making money? Don't make sense. They don't need it.
All right, Perp.
Yes, because choices matter.
Good deal. Terrence.
I'm not really big on the whole, having multiple sections. You should have one section and just let people know this is a little different. They should have some balls, man. Like, do some fucking rated R shit. People are not stupid. They know that it's not about what they need to do. It's about that they should do it to do certain comic books justice.
How
Like,
do
why
Birds of Prey
not?
do?
That's a whole other different field. You're talking about
4 seconds.
You're talking about an industry that does a bunch of different things.
2.
So yeah, make rated R movies.
1. Damn it. Hey, fellas, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on me and Terrence's show called Equilibrium. If y'all want to join, let me know in text or DM. I'll be more than happy to continue this. This is day 4 of 3 Guys Just Talking, which turned to 5 Guys Just Talking, which I thought was outstanding. I will say it clearly. I'm only going to give y'all 180 minutes of my life a day. So that's why I'm very disciplined on this. Right now, my phone is blowing up from work. I think we're in a chase, so I'm going to have to get off. I will see y'all later. Thanks. Peace. Catch you.
Peace.
Later.
See you later.